Nice. Okay, cool. I think we're good now, right? And so if I want to share the screen, I can do that. Sorry, guys, I'm not super familiar with Zoom. There, there's that.
Oh, Lane said that everybody's contract that they signed, that he got them all signed, they're up here. So.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
And he did not sign yours. The contract we did Wednesday.
You signed that time? Or are you talking about Sposky?
The one we did, I mean, Monday, the one we did Monday, when Lane was here.
So I'll be doing all this stuff. That
Well, no, he has, it's up here, you just have to sign it. Everybody's up there.
I've already checked.
Absolutely.
I think it's over there. This is my instruction set for Zoom.
Is that one yours?
Let's see.
And then if they've already signed it.
Bless you.
Welcome. I don't like he's in Lane instead of Lance. People want to call him Lane for some reason.
It is Lane.
Yeah.
It's Lane.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is
okay,
Lane.
that's why I keep
You're
going
right.
Lane.
That's why you want.
Okay.
You're correct.
And then all of a sudden I went, no, wait, it's Lance, hold on.
No,
That was
it's Lane.
Lane.
All right, I'm gonna ask y'all a favor.
Lost my mind.
If this thing that says admit and I miss it, just shout it out to me, or if somebody,
Okay.
if somebody comments, because I will forget to turn around and look at the screen here. So. Brooks in. All right, guys, well, welcome to Back to Ignite. This is session 3, right, for Find Your Business, because that's the one they told me I'm teaching today. This is my first time teaching Ignite, this Ignite class, so forgive me if things are a little bit slower or haphazard. Some of the other instructors have done this a few times and are smoother than me at it. So I know I've met a few of you, but I can't remember the woman's name. So can I just go around and ask?
I'm Christina Joss.
Okay, Christina, nice to meet you.
Submit.
Submit, nice to meet you. We've actually met before.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Tommy.
Tommy, okay. And
Rebecca.
Rebecca, okay. So nice to meet you guys. And let me make this in presentation mode. So still F5. Okay, cool. So it doesn't cover up Zoom. That's good. So Ignite, this one's about finding your business. So today we're going to be going over different aspects of that. There's so many different ways that we can all figure out what we're good at. There's things that I like to do and things I don't like to do. There's I like talking on the phone. Some people hate talking on the phone. But hopefully we can identify a few different ways to do that. So, in the beginning of the class, typically we will spend some time going over what you guys learned in the last couple classes and go through our mission. And if you guys all did that and have any questions, now's the time to look through that stuff.
I've been having trouble with some of the links. Do some of the links just not work?
Are the links? It's possible. The links are from. Which ones are you referring to?
So there was so on mission 2, I think like most of those ones weren't working, but is that because do we use eEdge?
I think eEdge is no law. I think most of it's in command now.
Okay, that's
So
what I
I
was
don't
kind
know
of
the correlation
thinking.
between Ignite. Obviously, that little mission statement is like a website that's printed off,
Mhm.
and those just don't work. When have tried to do that in the past, they didn't work.
Okay,
So like like I don't have any of the videos or anything like that that we're supposed to watch.
okay. Yeah, I got the lead generation video to work last night, but the other two, like the technology setup and marketing campaign, those ones didn't work.
Okay, well,
That was the only one I got to work too.
Okay, yeah,
So I'm
so it must
guessing
just
that
be,
those are just not.
they're probably older or whatever.
it's, yeah, I think that's the case, and I'm
Okay.
sorry that I don't know more than that.
Oh, no, it's okay.
About that, but were you able to, were you guys able to still do your 10-4s? Have you, did you make your calls and those kind of things? Do you have any questions about doing that or things that you learned yesterday? No, and that's okay. So that's good. Because the main thing is just we spend this time, because we're going to spend this time and do our follow-up calls. Have they been doing that in the mornings in the beginning? Typically, we'll spend 20 minutes making calls, doing the follow-up activities. Have they been doing that at the beginning or no?
I missed Wednesday, so. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
missed that too.
Oh, did you? miss
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
We did it yesterday, but not in the very beginning.
Okay.
We did it more like 10 or 11 o'clock.
Oh, I got you. Okay, sure. So, I mean, I'm just going through my list here. of Things to do. Because we've got, our action items here. So, they want you to have your, how many contacts if you've been doing note cards. I guess the videos didn't work, so, that's a bummer. I'm sorry about that. But hopefully I can replace some of the questions from the videos. So you guys, have you been doing your daily 10-4s? I mean, have you been making contacts every day? Is it, you don't necessarily have to make it to 10, but have you been in some sort of lead generation every day?
Yeah, I've been trying. The only things that I haven't been doing is the 10 notes, just because I don't have any note cards yet, so I still have to order some. And then for previewing 10 homes, that means like in person.
Yeah, typically it's in
How do we
person.
go about doing that? You just,
There's a few different ways. So if you don't have an active client that you're working with, you can actually do a preview. If you set it up in showing time,
okay,
you can do an agent preview and go through. And I've done that in the past as well, where I'll just go and I'll find a cool house that I think might be interesting to go, check it out, and then you can post on social media, hey, check out this, or wow, this is an amazing bathroom or something. The main point of that is to get. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I get my note cards from the dollar store.
okay,
Just blank note cards and then we
Okay.
shoot them out. And then two, I always search for vacant homes, because you're not gonna buy it, so if someone's
Yeah.
living there.
You're
When
not-
I
Right.
preview it in person, that just gives you experience opening up the lockbox, walking through it.
Okay.
Even remote, because I have clients out of town, so I have to video it,
Mhm.
so it just gives you practice in that area. Dollar store.
Okay, don't buy the.
And she has these note cards downstairs, just these,
Yeah,
and they're like 35 cents each. So I went down there this morning and bought 10 because mine had a
yeah,
so for $3.50. And then they bill you. You don't even pay for it.
okay.
You get the envelope system.
Okay, quick question. So I thought that the 10 notes, I mean, I've been writing notes, like handwritten letters to put in the mail, but I thought that the 10 notes on our daily 4 or daily 10-4 is like notes in our database. Like for whenever we call somebody or whatever, we're taking a note on that.
You can hear me, right? Okay, the microphone.
Yes.
So no, the 10 notes refers to a handwritten note of some sort. So that's
Okay.
hopefully we're all taking notes from
Okay.
what are people about what they're looking for, what's going on. That's sort of a given. So that the notes that they're talking about is a handwritten note that you send out.
Okay.
And usually
Okay.
I put a business card in there just so they remember it's got my picture on it. So there you go. But anyway, so that was talking about that. Typically we would spend this time and start to do that. So I'm also going to spend the lead generation time with you guys. I have a few things to knock out as well, a couple people to reach out to. So let's just spend the next 20 minutes and going through that. And if you have questions on who to call or what's going on, just let me know. I don't think you probably have to write. Don't mind.
I have a question.
Yeah.
An interrupt question.
Interrupt me.
Are you guys doing lead generation right now? I will never interrupt that.
Well, yeah, we just started,
Okay, cool.
hopefully.
In 15 minutes, I'm so sorry, you guys. But in 15 minutes, we're gonna have you all set up, but we're gonna ask if you guys can meet in the conference room. We'll come get you at about 15. Is that okay? We totally didn't realize scheduling Ignite today, that we actually had the training room already booked for about a month. But we're gonna get the camera and everything all set up. And in about 15 minutes, we'll come and get you. Is that okay?
I think that's.
I'll buy you guys Starbucks. I owe you. Oh, yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Hey, David,
Yeah.
Have you had to call the city of Dallas to get zoning information?
I have not.
Ugh,
I haven't yet.
it's a nightmare.
I believe that.
Ugh. Well, I have a client who's looking for some property and it's the realtor is worthless. And he says it's zoned as commercial, but I need to find out if it's zoned commercial or residential. So I've called and I've emailed, and they're all working remote, which means nobody's on the phone. Look for that. Oh, yes. Dish was easy. Justin and Dish, they were people answer the phone.
Try Lucas. This down.
It's awful.
Didn't use the type of bids, it's changed.
So they have, let's see, there's interactive now. I think this is where I looked yesterday. They want to be one Dallas zoning. So. Choose anything. So if I go.
Hey Josh, this is Rebecca. I hadn't talked to you in a while, so I kind of wanted to get your email address because somehow I deleted it from my contacts. So give me a call.
Oh, the
and
laptop?
I will get with you later today.
Service,
Bye.
laptop service, is that what it is?
I have one of those too.
Locate zoning. Seeing this, I don't know what these mean. Deed restriction maybe? But then. Case, I don't know what this is, but I have a number. So if I go to my client.
समय बात करो तो हमारी बात नहीं है बच्ची मान के सब चलो तो कर लेवानो प्लान तो आपकी बात की थी कोई नंबर मैसेज कर रहे हैं हमारे लाइन में रख रहे आई डोंट नो तुम्हें still interested show के बड़े कैंसिल कर रहे
And I ran comps on it to try and see, so I don't know if we can take
Like,
some of
find
this
it.
info.
Yeah, if you're interested, I can keep my eyes on and see if there's anything listed and I
Zoning Z297, do you think that's an important number? Right, in city of Dallas.
okay.
Sorry, that doesn't work.
Hello, is Jacoya there?
Yeah,
The-
have you signed any agreement with any of the realtors? Or be just verbal, nothing on paper?
I think they're showing that that's already checked. You can't really.
So, yeah, I will send you some listings
So
whenever,
wait, let's go
I'll
locate
check
the
again,
property.
but I just don't know you're still interested or not.
Because I got the
You
tax
should know
number.
this question.
It didn't come up with that.
It's been a while since I've reached out to you, so I'm just.
Hey, Bill, we're doing
Yeah,
lead generation right
legally
now.
I cannot, help you if you have any agreement with any of the
This,
realtors.
I'm gonna touch base and catch up, that'd be great.
Okay, good to know that. Yeah, so I'll send you some more listings and get back to you, okay?
Oh.
And so you did not like the one that I sent you, the second one? It had 2 bedrooms downstairs.
As soon as they find out.
It was like 510. Was listed for 510, but they couldn't negotiate.
I did.
If you wanted, if you were interested, you know, they could have a look first, you want to see the house, and then go from there.
So that's where it is. And if we zoom, so if we zoom all the way out.
Hey Jennifer, I was just calling to see if you were still at Beacon Hill or not. I
So
hadn't
it's
talked to you
South
all about it.
Dallas.
But this is Rebecca Miller. I started a franchise with Keller Williams. And I was hoping to get your email address so I could send you a little bit of
Right, okay,
information.
yeah, so the second one I sent you, I'll send you again maybe today.
If you can give me a call back, my number is 940-255-6575. Thank you.
Hey, question.
Yeah.
So if someone is talking to multiple realtors but don't have any written agreement, can you help that person or not?
Yeah, I mean, if they don't have a written agreement, even if they have a written agreement, they can technically still, they would just have to, you know, tear up your agreement with you. But yeah, you can still help them. It just, if they're buying a house, you know, they can buy it with any realtor they want. Hopefully, you know, you get the agreement and then they realize that working with one agent is much easier than working with a bunch of different agents. A lot of people think that,
Oh, is that what you want? Is that a?
you know, they can get a deal or something like that, working with the listing agent or something like that, but, you know, it's really just being there to provide value. But yeah, you can still do that. So if somebody's got, you know, if they already have an agent, but you show them a property, even if they want to run an offer on that property, you can still get them to sign the buyer's rep agreement for just that property, right? Typically, if somebody's
Well,
already
hello,
working
how are
with
you
another
doing?
agent, I'm not, you know, I don't want to step on another agent's toes. or do
It's
anything like that, or
busy,
be in
but
that
not
kind of
busy. How
situation.
have you been?
So it just depends, but legally, no, there's not a problem with that. Like I said,
Okay,
it
be
just
honest.
depends.
tell the truth. That
I had
did
a
not
client one
sound
time that
like
was trying to get me to discount my buyer's commission and give them like a kickback
Yeah.
to work with me, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna do that, so, because why would I? You don't have to pay me, it's the seller paying
Oh
me.
my
So,
gosh.
well, they're like, well, I'll work with you if you,
Yeah.
like, well, it doesn't really, you know, make sense. You know, why would you
So what did they find with the cost? What was the deal?
expect me to negotiate on your behalf, but you're also taking me out of my pocket? So
Yeah.
it just depends. Not all businesses do business, right? So you don't have to work with everybody that shows up. I fired a
Oh,
number
yeah,
of clients
God.
in my
I bet that's
time,
what's been causing your back problem.
just because it just didn't.
Yeah.
work out. So, but your specific situation, what do you have?
See, this guy, he doesn't answer call every time,
Uh-huh,
but he's looking for a house for sure. And
okay,
I just asked him if he's working with them because he's like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at a lot of properties, a lot of realtors, you know, send me listings and all that. So I asked him if you have written agreement. He doesn't.
Like, that seems kind of weird.
Not really gonna make sense.
Right.
Call him again or meet him, try to meet him.
yeah, it just, it depends. I mean, do you know exactly what he's looking for? Has he,
Yeah, he told me everything.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
yeah, so if you can find him a property that he likes and is ready to write a contract, you know, go ahead. I mean, usually I'll send the agreement with the contract.
Oh, I just imagine.
You know, I'm not gonna write a contract without that,
Mhm.
although you can. It just, in the MLS, it'll say, sometimes they won't pay unless there's a fire service.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
And it just, it protects you. It doesn't say to them that they owe you anything, you know, that you can cancel it at any time. So, there's been a few times where I helped somebody get into a house. They
Wow.
wanted to write an offer just for that house. They were working with somebody else, but
So how much,
that person wasn't
how
available
much tolling
to
did they
show them.
remove?
And I said, well, look, I don't mind doing
I
this.
didn't remove me, this, just this.
You know, I'm here, I can write the offer for you on this place, that's fine. And then in the agreement, it was just for that, just for that property.
Yeah, that's no trouble.
And they were okay with that. So it just depends. Does that help you? Or did it create more questions?
So even if he has agreement with someone else, just for one property, you can have an agreement with the person.
I'm sorry, say it again.
What'd you do, collapse?
So the person has agreement with some other realtor.
If you
And
have an
he's-
agreement with somebody, some other realtor,
Yeah, but just for one house, you can have agreement too, or if,
Mhm.
yeah,
yeah, you can write you can write in there for the specific property that you're showing them that you're writing an offer for this property. You know, and that'll work. Now, the question about if they already have a signed agreement with another agent, that I don't know about.
Oh, I
At
hope
that point,
so.
I'm sure
I
they
hope
would
so.
have to. That's a question that I can't answer right
right.
now because I don't.
Running back and
How
forth.
that works.
I don't know.
Maybe it's
Paul
like
told
if
you
it
or not,
doesn't
but
have
I
agreement
talked
with
to him.
others, then
And I
like
switched over from
to make
Central
him
21
comfortable,
to
hey,
Hotmail.
just for this property, I can be
Love
your
it.
agent,
Way
let's
more.
sign this.
Right. Yeah. So
Yes, yes.
that's a good question. I'll find that out for you.
Mm.
And also Thomas would know.
Yeah.
Well, if you come
Okay.
across anybody that's looking to buy or sell a home, hey, send them my way.
Okay.
Hey, do me a favor, give me your email address. I can send you a link, and then if you know anybody, give it to them.
Okay. She can work for me. That's great.
I appreciate y'all's
It's
flexibility.
what? Oh, what's
Yeah,
that?
that's fine.
That's my thing. Okay. I won't give it to anybody. No, I'll be the only one. But I am gonna send you something so you can give it to other people. So if you know anybody, so just in case, never hurts to spread the word. Well, I hope you're feeling better. Golly, how did you? I can't believe that Paul didn't even let us know that there was anything going on.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Perfect. Thursday,
Well, when you recover, let's do a girls' day.
let's do between 2 and 3.
Well, let me know.
Jenny, JDNI.
I'm gonna let you go so you can rest.
S-E-N.
Love you. Be careful.
The address is 3400 Tiago, Tioga Street. That's in Dallas, 75241. Well, yeah, it's zoning because it's a piece of 6 acres and it's in the MLS, it's showing that it's zoned for commercial. And I just want to see if it's zoned for commercial residential. Nine 703 1416.
Yeah, I got these on Amazon for like not that much money. It's all the ones were like
Perfect.
glittering.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay, so did you talk to banker? Yeah, he let me know that he did leave a message. Try to call you guys, but he
I don't wanna,
But yeah, also the price range that you told me, it's a lot of competition, like you can have a bidding war, so you gotta be ready for that. And if you get approved and everything, and you guys wanna wait, I think it's better, we can do that too. You can give it a shot. If you don't try, you're not gonna get a phone, right? But in the price range, under 300,000, yeah, we can definitely have it. First two, they're ready to buy the property. like that. So if you want, we can wait till next year. I have no problem with that. Yeah, we're gonna have, it's not gonna be. maybe valid, but nothing like, huge difference. Right? Yeah, so Keller Williams doesn't do that. You can get FHA or conventional from them, and then you get all the benefits. But if you're looking for down payment assistance, yeah, and there's some special lenders. The one I sent you, that's one of them. It's pretty good at it. But yeah, if you want to go with Keller Williams, you gotta have say more down payment stuff, and you can do that.
Hey, stranger,
Yeah,
this
so gonna
is
be
Rebecca. I thought we'd give you a call.
3.5%
Going.
for down
Give me
payment
a call,
and then
nine four
closing
zero
costs.
two
which
five
might
five
be 3 to
six five
4%.
seven five.
So you calculate that, the
Later.
price range that we're looking for, this is how much you're gonna have to save up. Yeah, I understand. I just wanna let you know this is, things are right now. So, yeah, Keller Williams mortgage is a good option, but it's need a little bit more saving for that. Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm for. Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much. How are you?
Try to get everything set up so I can just share my computer screen.
Yeah, you could log in if you don't need it online. If you want to control it from your computer.
That's okay. I don't know if the camera's on.
Right there. Laptop joined.
Okay, cool.
We'll just turn the mic on when you get down there, and the speakers are on that laptop, so that's what we'll go through. And then the keyboard right there to the TV. So the TV is also hooked in. It has your power,
Oh, okay.
so you can literally just use the keyboard. and mouse right there. If you want. So you're all ready to.
I think we're pretty much ready to go down. So let's just do that. I'll let you.
Stop screen share.
Oh.
So we'll write that in right there.
You know exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent job. Let me tell them. real quick. Oh, it just changed the host, right? So
I'm changing the host, and then we can tell everybody. Right there.
So guys, I didn't set a timer when we started, but I think it's about, we need to move downstairs to the conference room, right? It's the one just from the front.
Yep. Everybody on Zoom, you can stay. We're not changing Zoom rooms or anything. We're just switching rooms. I'm logging this one off, but now that the downstairs one is host, we're still hooked up.
Okay.
So everybody else stays.
Cool.
phone. This one doesn't have one hooked up, so
Okay.
that's it. You are good to go. So you're unmuted. They can hear you now. They can see you,
All right.
but you're going to share screen from this one. Okay?
Okay, so these are two.
They're
different
totally
computers?
different computers.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. No
We
problem.
didn't have a webcam because we're about to log into training on our computers.
Mhm.
We didn't have a webcam to hook up to this one, so we had to improvise.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you. Well, we're gonna be cozy in here now.
Doesn't get too
These from
warm.
upstairs.
Okay, thank you. Here, I need that. Well, sorry about that, y'all. That was out of my control. Room. Now, I don't know if she told me this one is sharing my screen or if it's that one. Hey, Dinah. So is what's on the TV showing on the Zoom?
No, click on here. And now hover over and do share screen. And now
Okay.
share. Now it is.
Okay, cool. All right. And can, thanks. Can the people on the Zoom hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
Is there a delay, I guess?
So sorry about this. This is, you know, didn't expect this to happen, but anyway, so we can get on into what I'm excited about is where to find your business, because especially with today, there's so many different ways, but you guys I think, did really well with making your calls. We don't have to do any written notes right now. And we can sort of just start with it. So I'm sure you guys have heard lead generation is the number one most important thing to it. You know, I know when I signed up for my license a while ago, I thought that I would show up and the phone would ring and I'd get leads, and that's not true. And so we're we're really in the business of outbound prospecting, finding our own business. It's up to us to do that, and so hopefully when we leave here, we'll have you guys will have a bunch of different ideas on ways to do that. So a couple questions, and I think these are in your book. I don't know what page, maybe it's 13 if it matches what I have. But why is active lead generation important? Trying to ask that question.
Without it, you don't have any business, and then you're eventually going to run out of business if you don't continuously lead generate.
Okay,
Because it's all word of mouth.
right. Word of mouth is definitely important. Anybody else have?
There's no business, no people. don't-
Right. So, you know, really, that is anything. It's just that's how we keep our pipeline filled with business, and it's just constantly being able to do that. So they say, and this is true, it's 90 days. What you're doing today will show up within 90 days, unless you get somebody that's like, I'm ready to write an offer right this second on something. It's not impossible, but that's not as likely as just building a database of people that you market to. So another question, you know, what do you think is the difference about lead generation of successful agents compared to the not so successful agents? I mean, what separates the successful agents from the agents that aren't doing as well?
Contacts.
Okay,
Yeah, I
They
would
have
say,
to have the contacts to be able to generate leads, because if you don't have contacts, you have
okay.
nothing.
And what do you mean by contacts?
People you can add to your database, people
Okay.
you're speaking to every day.
Mhm.
You gotta meet more people, because you're not gonna sell the same houses to the same people,
Mhm,
but every 7 years or more.
mhm,
And so if you don't meet more people, you're not gonna have anyone to sell to.
mhm. Okay,
so successful agents are like more active with the lead generation, and probably the not so successful ones are just more like passive, just like, here's a business card, but they're not really like getting the contact information and putting in their database and following up.
right, exactly. You guys have anything else? I mean, that really does sum it up. So it's, the successful agents are the ones that are doing it, you know, frequency and consistently. Frequently and consistently. The more you do it, because it's a numbers game, right? So the more people you talk to, the more people that know who you are and what you're doing, the more business you'll have, and it just comes down to that. I mean, have you guys heard of don't be a secret agent, right? Like 007, even though 007 is a terrible spy because everybody knows who he is. He's not a secret agent, right? But yeah, so it is number one job. You know, I think I'm trying to keep up with my notes and also what's in the PowerPoint. But, so it's the funnel, right? So if we look, and I know you guys have seen this before all over the place, but leads, appointments, I mean, it all comes down to the closing, right? And there's a lot more leads that everything gets filtered out, right? So some of the benefits of prospecting is actively looking for business. What's up? Right, so marketing is more passive. That's like, you know, here's a Facebook post, here's a flyer that I sent out in the mail, or a postcard, or whatever else. Some people make commercials, some people do billboards. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways, but prospecting is either picking up the phone, sending a text message, sending an email, talking with people in the grocery store. And the benefits of that is you're going to get immediate results from that, right? So there's that, puts you in control. I think the leads are much better quality. You know, if you're talking to somebody that knows you, you're building rapport with them, right? I'm trying to keep up with our. I don't think our PowerPoint matches the book. Might be going too far. I think we'll just go through the book. I think everybody online has the book too, right? So. So the 4 C's of prospecting: capture, connect, close, cultivate, right? This goes along with another. I used to do sales for another company, and they taught us CARE, which stood for, let's see if I can remember it. It was connect, assess, recommend, and encourage, right? That was for, if you had any sales training, you might have heard something similar to that. But really, it's just about it's about, you know, relationships with people. You know, people aren't going to do business with somebody they don't know, like, and trust, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So if we, let me see if this goes. Sorry, I'm going to the book. I'm on page 17. So with capture, we've all heard about the database, right? That is your business. You know, when you hear companies like Zillow recently bought Showing Time. What was the reason of that? It was the data. It was the information in there is one thing, but it's the data that backs that up, right? The amount of clients that you have. And so it's important when you're talking to people to make sure you capture as much of their information as possible so that you can stay in touch, right? And so when you guys have been doing your prospecting, have you been able to capture people information? I mean, I know you have their phone number, but are you able to get their email address, or is that more difficult to find?
It's more
Usually, if
difficult.
they're interested, they don't have a problem.
Mhm,
I find this a little more difficult to get their email address.
mhm.
But-
But you're able to get their phone number, like a good message, you can text message them or, okay, very cool.
I'm actually having to collect all of my emails again because I had another company and when I downloaded all my information from there into their program,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, when I left that company, all of my emails disappeared off my phone. Every email,
Wow, that is
very strange.
really strange. But you said you had a spreadsheet or something that you,
No, I had put it into my phone and put it into their command system.
mm-hmm.
And so now I'm calling every single person I know, saying, give me your email address.
Oh, wow. Well, that gives you a good excuse to
To
reach
call them
out,
and reach
you know.
out. So that's
Yeah,
how,
save
yeah,
that.
so that's what I've been doing, is calling them and that, and of course, I'll buy on an expired list.
Mm-hmm. So that happened when you put it into command?
That's what happened when I put it into their system, which was basically our command.
Oh, I got you.
Same system, they
Okay.
pretty much same system, same setup for the most part, just different name.
Yeah, I keep like a CCV or CVV.
I've started doing that now.
Yeah, I like to export just to keep a backup because if something happens, because all the CRMs run in the cloud and whatever, then you can update it. So, and then it's all on my phone anyway, because I back it up to my Google contacts. So that way, if I switch between Android and Apple, things stay with me, right? Okay, guys, I'm trying to flip back and forth between the PowerPoint and what's in our books, and it's not matching super well. So I'm just going to continue with page 18. So connect is the next step of the 4 C's, right? So you're connecting with people, and we're doing that by, asking questions. Really, is what it's about. They have in here a little chart: who, what, where, why, when, how. So when you're talking with people, it's really about finding their why and why they're moving, what their needs are, and then you can go out and figure out what's best for them. Or sometimes they don't know, and just having a conversation with somebody. Okay, well, if you've got 3 kids and another one on the way, how many bedrooms do you think you're going to need? How young are they? Are they going to need to be in a certain school district? These kind of things. What's your commute like? Just find out as much as you can, and that not only does that help you help them, but then they also, it's building a relationship with them, right? So, and then you can, sometimes they're like, well, we found this house, it's amazing, we love it. And then you have to be like, okay, look, I know you love this house, but is it really is this really what you want? Or do you think it's pretty because they staged it perfectly or whatever, because it's not in the location you guys were talking about, it's not near work or, whatever it is. So, do you guys have any examples you want to share of people that you've recently talked to, even this morning, of that kind of thing?
I do. I just closed on it yesterday, but he was very specific about what he wanted. He's a retired vet, 72 years old, hasn't bought a house since the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew exactly what he wanted, because he wanted a house, but only a 2-bedroom house. And I'm going, are you okay with a townhome? So anyways, look, we found it in Garland. So it checked all the boxes except the location.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so he's like, well, and he doesn't have an email or doesn't text. He's just a flip phone guy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I called him and I said, here's the deal. And I went through everything that checked all the boxes, and I said, but it's in Garland.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, let's go check it out. And it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that sometimes you'll be able to check all the boxes, but then I always tell my clients, hey, listed priority, what's the most important that you have to have?
Mm-hmm.
So, so even for searching for the house, I was doing the searching because he didn't have an email.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it was so interesting to do this deal.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But you have to accommodate who's your client? How do they, but it was the easiest thing. I went down there, showed him one house, wrote up the contract while we were there,
Mhm.
and we were executed by the time we got home.
That's awesome.
I've never had that happen before. It was
Mhm.
awesome. So
That's awesome.
it checked all of them but one.
And sometimes that's okay, but at least you understood what he's looking for, that you're able to get over there. I just noticed it's Jesse's birthday. It's Anne's birthday. I don't know when that was from.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm also working with a guy who's looking for a very specific type of place he wants. He wants a condo that has, doorman and somebody there because he's elderly, but he's a concert pianist, and so he needs a room that can accommodate a grand piano, and not a baby grand. It's a full size grand piano. The reason he's moving out of his place is he can't play it because it's too loud and it upsets his neighbors. But he doesn't want a single family house that wouldn't have that problem. He wants to be in a condo. And so understanding this, it narrows the search. I actually found a place for him that the condo didn't have a neighbor on one side of it. So where the living room was, the wall was up next to like mechanical systems, like their HVAC and that kind of stuff, or like storage closet. And there was a long distance from there to the lobby because he needed to be on the first floor. And then the other neighbor, their living room matched with the bedroom. So there wasn't going to be like a direct contact with the wall versus somebody else's bedroom. And so, yeah, there was somebody above, but the above floor plan was exactly the same as the one down below. So it would also be in the living room. But he ended up not absolutely loving it. But I thought it was perfect for him, So sometimes, even though it did check all the boxes, which in this case it did, it's still, he just, maybe it was the location. But really, it's just coming down to asking as many questions you can. Well, okay, what about this? What about this? Those kind of things. So next on the C's is close, right? Which really is asking for the appointment. And this is what it's like the first type of close, right? Because close comes later when they're ready to run off or something like that. But it's either it's an appointment with them, a referral from them, or a connection in other ways, like with if you want with mortgage lenders or other kind of what we call allied resources, right? So you have to be able to do that. So I prospect for sell by owners, and I don't know, it's something that I started to do when I first began, and it's just I find it a challenge and enjoy doing that. And as I get better at it, I can set an appointment a day. That's my goal. So I want to go on one appointment a day with a for sale by owner and see what I can do to help them. And so it comes down to just being able to say, hey, when can we meet? And sometimes they'll give an injection, sometimes it'll be sure fine, but most of the time it's like, oh well, I'm weary of realtors. And so they give us a few different examples of closing here, right? So the hard close is let's meet. Soft close, I've enjoyed visiting with you. When do you want to get together? It just depends. Honestly, it just depends on your style, but as long as you can at some point move the conversation forward and then close, right? Have you guys been able to set any appointments in this? So Ignite started Monday, right?
Yes.
Was that your first
Yeah.
class? Have you guys been able to set any appointments this week?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still trying to learn everything.
Well, that's okay. What about it? No? Have you?
Oh, I'm brand new. I literally signed Wednesday.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I'm like, I haven't even got my login or anything.
Oh, I got you. Okay, well, sorry to.
No, it's fine.
But okay, so and that's okay, but it's with buyers, it's different. A lot of times I meet them in my cases, I've met them at the house that they want to see for the first time. And I count that as a meet with for sale by owners also. It's usually at their house. I'm not usually taking people to lunch and doing that kind of thing. But getting in front of somebody is really important because things change when you're face to face. I do a lot of my prospecting with text messages instead of calling. I'm not scared of the phone. I'm not scared of doing that, but I find that people respond a lot more with a text message.
Younger people.
Yeah.
Yeah, younger people, but even there's some older people too that just will not pick up the phone. But I text them and they text right back, you know?
Yeah.
So it just depends. But the thing I've noticed is being face to face with somebody is a totally different experience than either talking or texting. Right? So and I think the final C, I mean, they go together, close and cultivate go together, but most of the time, most of what we're doing is cultivating. And that's another term for follow-up, right? You know, if you weren't able to get an appointment and you haven't met them yet, your next goal for them is to stay in touch, right? And so with our, I've got my book here. Usually I've got electronics, I'll just do that. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, if you have it and you read it, great. If you haven't, don't worry about it. But the main things in there are the 8x8, which is 8, you touch them 8 times throughout 8 different weeks. So once a week for 8 weeks to build a relationship, and then the 36 touch after that. And that's a systematic following up with them over the course of a year. You want to touch them 36 times in multiple different ways, whether it's phone call, email, text message, right? And that's the follow-up. And I don't want to sound too cliche, but they say the future is in follow-up, right? If people are going to buy a house or sell a house, they're going to do business, it might as well be with you. And if you're the one staying in touch and you're the one providing value and you can answer all the questions and you're their best friend or whatever it is, then the hope is they choose you, right? So now we get into really, you know, what the class is about, which is finding your business and where does the business come from, right? Yeah.
So sorry, sir.
No problem. Okay. Sure, no problem. Oh, it's okay.
Don't sit there.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you.
So let me ask a question. How many people do you know? It's a pretty broad question, right?
Yeah.
So if you had to sit there and think about it, right?
Not a lot of people.
Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it 200? Is it 2,000? Not 2,000, I don't think, but
Yeah, in my contacts, I only have like 150,
okay.
but I probably know 1,000 people
Mhm.
or
Okay.
more.
All right. So it's a weird question, right? Because on average, you know, I've gotten some notes here. On average, it's 150, and I've heard that in other places as well, where the average amount of relationships we can keep track of is about 150. I'm not talking about like keeping them in your phone, but just people that you can, you know, if you hear their name, you can think of them, right? So, you know, if you look in Facebook, or if you look somewhere like that, or Instagram, your friend list becomes much different, right? So I think Facebook limited it now to 5,000.
Yeah.
Is the maximum you can have, right? But I've known people with, you know, somewhere around that for a long time. I'm not a super active Facebook user, so we can't use mine as an example. But that's sort of like, that's a database of sorts, right? So sphere of influence is all the people who know you, trust you, and may do business with you. And I'm sure you guys have talked about that in the previous 2 classes. I didn't know you were brand new. I thought you'd been here for a minute, so pardon me for
No, it's fine.
assuming. And if questions come up that you,
I'm just kind of soaking it all in right now.
yeah, no problem. But if something comes up that you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't be shy, because that's how I was when I was learning. I was like, what? What does that mean? So the sphere of influence is, like we said, the people who know you, like you, and trust you. It's like your inner circle, you know, your VIPs. I mean, these are people like your immediate family, your mom, your cousin, your sons, daughters, best friends, whatever. And those are the people that, you know, as of right now, you guys are new, right? You don't have a huge, I mean, I'm just assuming, but you don't have a huge list of people that you're marketing to already. Your sphere of influence are already people that know you. Hopefully they trust you, right? Hopefully they like you. So it's going to be important to cultivate that because it's going to be a huge source of business moving forward.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So for me, entering the 10 people in my database every day, like, it took me a minute to like, aha, this is how you do it. So like everyone here exchange numbers and put it in your database as an agent. I just didn't think about that kind of thing. So anyone you meet and talk to, put them in your database. But as new agents, there's in the smart plan, once you get into command, there's an email you can send out to all of your family, friends, coworkers, whatever, saying, hey, I'm in real estate now. I'm with Keller Williams. I mean, it's already set up for you. So there's just a lot of stuff that I just didn't think about. And it's like, oh, duh. Because you think your family knows you're in real estate, but until you tell them directly. And one of the things I did with my sister, she used to live up here in Allen. And I contacted her and I said, hey, do you have like 10 friends on Facebook that would be cool if I reached out to them and said, hey, I'm a realtor, blah, 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 if you know anyone. And she did. So gotta just kind of think, I don't know, that just didn't come naturally for me. So.
Well, I'll be honest, when I first started, I was not comfortable reaching out to the people that I know and telling them I'm in real estate. And if you know anybody, I wasn't comfortable. Now I am. I have just there was just a big block. Now I'm confident. I know that I'm good at what I do, and I was good then, even though I was learning. But that was not my favorite thing to do. I'd rather talk to somebody that I've never met before than, you know, call my well, yeah, then call even my family. Like, okay, well. I mean, I know in my heart of hearts that my mom would never use anybody else other than me to buy or sell a house. I know this, but at the same time, or you know, my brothers, all that kind of stuff. I just didn't feel comfortable doing it. But it is the best source because it's people that know you. It's like I don't want to do this with anybody that doesn't want to do this with me. We were talking earlier about, you know, if they're working with somebody else and all this kind of, that's not I don't like that. That's not my comfort zone. You know, I'm like, okay, if you're using another realtor, that's fine. I'm gonna have to like fight for your affection over here. You know, it's not a Tinder date, but you know, so.
That's the question.
I know I've been so out of touch with people that I know that I just called my sister-in-law when we were upstairs and found out she just had surgery. She had a mass in her colon.
Oh wow.
My brother didn't even tell me.
Wow.
And I'm like,
What was on Facebook?
yeah.
Nice.
They don't use Facebook. Yeah, my brother and sister-in-law don't even use Facebook. I mean, they're kind of keep to themselves, obviously.
Yeah. I found out my grandfather died on Facebook. My parents didn't tell me, didn't call me like, hey, I just want like to let you know. I didn't even know he was sick. It's just one day it's like morning passing.
Oh my goodness.
Really? Like, you can't let me know. I mean, they live in Michigan, so it's not like
Oh, my
I see
family's
them
in
all the
Michigan.
time. Okay.
What part?
I'm from Hazel Park, around Detroit area.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grew up in Livonia. My parents live in Florida.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Awesome.
I found out my dad got married on Facebook.
Oh.
So
Oh, I got it. Hopefully I haven't been missing those. Anyway, so a couple of the different ideas. So obviously we know immediate family, friends, relatives. But another thing we don't think about, maybe you guys do, is neighbors, right? So professional services. Okay. Professional services like doctors, dentists, and then we have obviously in real estate, you'll meet a bunch of mortgage brokers, mortgage lenders, title people, all these different allied resources that we can use, and we help build each other's business. Past coworkers is another one that's in the list here. And I don't know if it's in this book, but there's another.
Did you read it cover to cover?
I did not.
I
wish I
didn't
did.
either. I tried. I was like,
There's a
sorry.
list in here from this book too. I think it's in one of these Ignite books, but I wanted to share this with you guys. And I should have bookmarked the page. I thought I knew exactly where it was. Here it is. So here's a list, and I can make copies of this, but it's just, it says, who do you know from these industries? You know? So think about like they've got accountants, auto mechanics, somebody in the computer networking services. I mean, there's a whole list of people that can kind of help jog your memory. So when you're trying to do your 10 by 10 contacts a day is easy for the first couple of days. And you start running out of people, start running out of ideas like, okay, well, I'm already talked to my immediate family and friends. And so if going after your sphere of influence is going to be part of your lead generation, and you start running out of ideas, a list like this can help kind of jog your memory, right? So let's see what's next in here. So what's next in the book is talking about time blocking. This is something that for me is easy to understand, right? Let's see. Okay, guys, there's that slide for people on Zoom. Sorry, watch a video. We don't have access to the videos, so I'll be your video. Time blocking is something that's easy for me to understand, and I love the idea of it, although implementing it is difficult for me. But I do know if I put something on my calendar, I get it done. If I don't put something on my calendar, I don't. It's really hard for me to remember to do it or do it at the time I'm supposed to do it. And so, let me go over here. I know I'm not sharing on the screen. So here's my calendar, right? So I put as much on here as I can. And some days it's a lot more full, like here we go. This is the day when I actually time blocked. And guess what I got done that day? All of this stuff on the list. Okay. So when I got here, I set an hour and a half to do follow up, right? And then I set another hour right after that to do the tasks. And it just helps me keep track. Some people are really good at keeping track. Like my wife, for instance, she's great at keeping track of what she has to do and getting the things done. I'm terrible at it. And for me, time blocking is important. So I make sure I'm doing my contacts and then follow up, and depending on what's going on, one of those can be bigger or smaller than another. I know we have the daily 10-4, which is 10 contacts, 10 notes. What's the other 10?
The 10 preview houses.
Preview
That's
houses.
weekly.
Yeah, 10 a week, and then but what's the last one?
10 contact, 10 connect.
Yeah.
Okay.
10 notes.
Mhm.
10 notes. Okay, entered into the database. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking contact is when you talk to somebody and had a two-way conversation, and then actually entering that into the database. So that's a good starting point, right? Because it's 10 a day, it's whatever, but really it comes down to whatever number you can do. I know it's like something is better than nothing. Sometimes I'd wake up, like I was working with somebody else before on another team, and they wanted me to do 20 a day, 20 contacts a day. And some days I would it'd be later in the day and I hadn't done it, and it's like 20, that's gonna take me forever, and then I just didn't do it, and then, so I got nothing done. So it's like the idea of getting 20. But if I got 5, it would have been better than the 0 that I got, right? And I had a lot of zeros. I had a lot of like, oh, that's too much. Oh my God, whatever. and I didn't focus on just do the action, right? So even if you can't make 10 a day, or you can't make 20 a day, if it's 1 or 2 or 3, that's okay. Obviously, your business isn't going to expand as quick as you probably need it to, because we have our ratios for new agents. For an appointment is 60 contacts equals an appointment, right? And as your skills improve, I mean, those numbers may be better or worse for you, but that's a good average. As you get better, that number will come down. So when I began, it was about that. I wasn't able to do appointments. Now I can set an appointment a day, and then that moves you forward. But every day I'm doing the lead generation, trying to do contacts. So take time. It doesn't have to be in the morning. I know with Ignite, we do it in the morning just because you get the hardest thing done first thing. When I wake up, and I wake up early and work out every morning because I don't do it in the afternoon. So in the afternoon I get home, I'm tired, and I want to. I sit on the couch, and as soon as I sit on the couch, I'm like, okay, I'm not moving. I'll go out and do anything. And so I do my workout and then start my day, and then prospecting's the next thing, right? It's my job when I get here is to get an appointment. And then later, that's when I add information into the CRM. I do my follow-up, see what's going on. And then when it comes down to it, I have time blocked in my schedule to prepare for the appointment that I'm going to go on. And if I didn't get an appointment for some reason, then my job is to find an appointment, right? And so if time blocking helps do that, if time blocking helps make sure you get it done, that's what I recommend, right? Let's see here.
You guys know about the tracker there too on the intern?
I do not know what the tracker is.
Well, you can get to it because it's not through command, it's just through the KW internet.
Is it called?
Intranet. I have it saved somewhere.
What does it do?
So I'll show you. I don't know, it's just easier for me, because they'll ask you, how was your weekly thing? I'm like, I didn't keep track of it.
10-4.
It's daily10.4.com.
Okay.
At least that's what I wrote. I
I
don't know
think-
if it comes up directly from that. I have it like saved on my.
Yeah, if you just go to daily10.4.com, and then you can just click on the date and put how many connects you did, how many, just to keep up with what you do. We just learned about it yesterday, or I just learned about it yesterday.
Yeah, it comes,
It's weird. that
it does make
We're
you
not
sign in
taxes,
though, if you do daily10.4.
Yeah, if you don't have access to anything yet, it might.
I don't have access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here,
Once
you get it, this is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So how does
It's like
that
a
work though
visual
with someone
guide.
like me? Because I'm still continuing my full-time job I have, the city.
Mhm.
So this is, for me, I'm pretty much doing this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's
Mhm.
really all the time. I can show houses during the week in the
Yeah.
afternoons, but it's not gonna be till 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, like we do stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think it'll work out. It's just, I can't get up Monday morning and start calling people. I start work at 4:35 a.m.
Right.
People are not awake.
Yeah.
So apparently, if you call someone at 4:30 in the morning, they're not happy. So, but yeah, so once I'm working, I can't really do much with this
Mhm.
until I finish. So I'm looking at this, and so as you're saying, like, 10 a day. So maybe I'm not doing it 7 days a week. So maybe I'm doing it 3 days a week.
Mhm.
So like you're saying, just go through the motion or go through, act of it. So it won't grow as fast. I understand that.
Mhm.
So
But that's exactly right. So if you're working another job and you're doing this part-time, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Mhm. But I don't have to. I'm not in a position where, like, oh my God, I gotta sell something. I don't have that stress or worry.
And that's an awesome position to be in.
It is.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's really the best position to be in because you're not desperate. You're not.
Right.
People can smell this.
They can absolutely smell it.
Mhm.
I one of my hobbies, and this sounds stupid, I love car shopping. I
Mhm.
love it. I go to dealerships just to mess with dealers. I love messing with them. Are you kidding me? I have the best time because I go in there and I have no intention of buying anything. I just want to see how good of a deal I can get. Not buying anything. It just, to me, it entertains me. So
There's your contacts.
yeah, I know it's the
You
craziest
get
thing.
their cards,
It's an
their
odd
email
hobby to
address and
have.
everything.
Right now, I don't do it because it's crazy. But I go in there and it's like, I go and I can tell a salesperson who's desperate, and I'm just like, okay, thanks for your time, and I'll leave. And I don't say anything to him. I just do the thing. But now I know so many people in the auto industry. A lot of them already know who I am. It's like, oh, here's our regular shopper. You know, he's not gonna buy anything. But you know, sometimes I'll talk to him. Very, very rarely. Sometimes, like, especially as a new person, but like, hey man, you got a lot of excitement. That's awesome. I wouldn't do this.
Mhm.
And it's just trying to be a friendly thing. But so I understand what you're saying. Like, desperation is terrible, and I do not want that.
Yeah, and so really, honestly, the position, you know this, the position you're in is perfect for that. But it just, there's getting up, making calls. I don't make calls. I text, you know, I text every day. I text all the new for sale owners. Hey, you know, I have a list of things that I say. I don't even have to type it out. I just click my buttons and it sends it out in my CRM. So I systematize my prospecting to make things easier on me, because sitting here and typing people's phone and then waiting for them not to answer and then leaving a message, that I don't like doing that. It's not fun for me. I'd much rather send out 20 text messages at one time. Whoever respond, start talking to them. That's what's worked for me. Some people, I know there's some people that get a list. You know, they prepare their list in the morning, and then on their drive to the office, that's where they make their calls. You know, they just say, you know, I mean, if you got earpods or whatever, hey Siri, call. I'm doing I'm kidding. Sorry. Okay, thank you. I forgot that it would pull from all of it. It doesn't know so there's no escaping that. But you can just tell the phone to call this number. I mean, there's ways to. There's no right or wrong way to do it, as long as you make the context. So even with work, you know, when you're going out and screwing with the car salesman, you know, I'd say, look, I like your energy, whatever. Like, if you ever need anything, here's my card, let me know. And then get there and what's your card, and then stay in touch with them that way. You know, you guys go back and forth. Jessie actually has a cool story about a car salesman that she was talking to because she was looking for a new car, and the guy called her on like clockwork every 3 weeks. You know, and his method was, hey, what's the date 3 weeks from now? And make her open her calendar. Well, I don't know, what is it? Okay, I'm gonna call you at this time that day. You know, okay, fine. I'm not ready to buy it. That's okay. I'm still gonna call you then, whatever. And then sure enough, 3 weeks later, hey, you ready for whatever? No. Okay, well, what's 3 weeks from now, right? And it just keeps it going. And she's like, well, I'm not gonna buy a car from him. She wants a BMW, and he's a Mercedes dealer. But I love the fact that he keeps following up, and I want to see if I'm doing real estate right. So, because that's her job. Her job is to help do that right. So anyway, but in this, you'll be able to find value from this, even if we're talking about doing it. These are the daily things. So prepping, right? Preparing a call list. I'm on page 24 now. Just generate a list, you know, make things easier on yourself instead of like, okay, sitting down in front of the phone, who do I call, or just opening up a phone book. It's think about what am I doing today, right? Am I looking for referrals? Am I going to call my sphere? Am I going to call for sale owners? Sometimes it can be many of those things. I used to do every morning. I would call all the expireds, right? Once I get through that list, I would go and call all the new for sale owners. Once I get through that list, then I would go back to the expireds and call people that didn't answer the first time and see if I can get in touch with them, right? And the goal was to talk to every one of those people on the list that day. And so I would just keep going back and forth, right? And that's how I was able to get to my 20 contacts a day, right? Then, yeah, you got leads from signed calls. You'll start getting those when you get listings out there, your signs are out, right? Neighborhoods, just listed, just sold, that's what we call circle prospecting. I don't know if you guys have learned about that.
I
yet or
watched a
not.
video about it and it was like a recent one that they put on KW Connect, but they were talking about like the two that the people used, they're both like paid for ones. Are there any like free services that offer? Cause like to get the numbers of the
Oh, yeah,
people.
I'll show you guys. how to
Okay.
get access to that. Do you have access to your MLS and all that now?
Yeah,
Okay. I know you don't, but I can still show you guys how to do it. And once you do get access, or do you have access?
I don't know. I just did my ethics course through the board yesterday.
Okay.
So
You'll probably have it today then.
I think, yeah, you'll probably have access to all of that very soon.
yeah, I'm not too worried about it. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like I'm just getting flooded with everything.
Yeah.
It's shocking how much is here. I was like, this is not how I envisioned this 6 months ago.
Right. And it's tough because it's like drinking through a fire hose, right?
Right now it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
And so if I'm going too fast or if I'm not being clear enough, please let me know. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. If there's something else I can elaborate on, just let me know if you've got questions. And guys on Zoom, that goes for you too. I don't know if I've missed anything because I haven't seen any chats pop up. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. So anyway, and I'll show you guys how to pull some different lists of people to call
Okay.
and ideas and kind of brainstorm that kind of stuff. Because it's something this is something I enjoy. I love figuring out new ideas and that kind of stuff. Then another bullet point here, and this is what allied resources and past clients, right? So it's rehearse script. So if you want, if it helps you find somebody to role play with and practice the script back and forth. I personally didn't do that. I just called people and screwed up a bunch of times and figured it out. But it does help. It will help improve your skills much quicker than doing it the hard way like I did, or am still doing. It's like having a sparring partner or a training partner for working out. It's just like, okay, you can do this, you can say that, you can pretend to be a super nice, agreeable client or a super mean, nasty, whatever. So then we got take action, right? So we've got that's just going through the list that you just created, right? After you identify what you're going to do, this is what I'm doing today. Then we do it, right? So get out your database or call us, start calling. As you start to build a database, then you'll have a bunch of those numbers in here to keep track of, right? Right. Then after that, you're updating it as you're calling. You're keeping notes. This can be in a notebook. I do it all on the computer. But you can, sometimes I do have to take notes on a sticky note. I always move it to my CRM and my computer. In the beginning, I was not good at that, right? I'd call somebody, talk to them. Okay, I'll keep back in touch. And then I wouldn't take good notes. And then a month later, I'd go in there. Who is this? I don't remember. I thought I would, but I don't. I don't remember what we talked about. I don't remember what they're looking for, what their time frame is. So honestly, take as many notes as you can, unless you're super good about remembering these kind of things. Some people are. I'm not. I wish I was. And then the last thing is to maintain, and this kind of goes along with putting your information. So as I do it, I'm making notes in the computer. So I have, it's less cleanup at the end of the day, right? But if you're making a bunch of notes on paper, moving it to your CRM so that when you pull up the client the next time, you can read through the notes, right? And then schedule. This is the important thing that I do, and it goes back to the car salesman, right? Schedule a follow up. You don't have to necessarily tell them I'm calling you this time, but put it in your own calendar, like follow up with so and so about whatever. That's been huge for me to remember to just do it, even if it's like text. Hey, I know you said you're 3 to 6 months out. Just stay in touch if there's anything you need. And it can be that simple. It can be more complicated than that, right? But It doesn't have to be. It's, what do they say? It's simple, not easy, right? So it's really just about doing it. All right, we go to, so now we're getting into the fun stuff for like prospecting opportunities. Right, there's a video that everyone wants me to watch. I don't have access to it, but we've got the next thing. So finding more leads. I don't know if that's in Edge or not, but so let's think about it for a second. We've mentioned a few of them before, but what are some prospecting sources that you can think of?
I've been utilizing LinkedIn,
Okay.
finding connections that way. So a lot of times people have at least their email on there.
It's actually a really great.
Facebook.
There's a plugin for, I think it's Chrome. It's called Contact Out,
Okay.
and you can get emails from LinkedIn. Well, if you have, I think you have to pay, right, to get people's contact information on LinkedIn.
If you like, so a lot of times they have to be like your connection. So I've been seeing like if we have like 10 connections in common or whatever, a lot of times they'll accept like your request to be friends. And then if you click on their contact info, a lot of times it has at least their email. Sometimes they have their phone number too.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have to like individually go through all of them. That's the free way to do it.
Right. Okay. So you're using LinkedIn. That's working. What else? What else can you guys think of as far as
Prospecting?
for just finding business? So prospecting is the act of,
I'm still in my sphere, so but I do a lot of other things aside from making a car salesman. But like I'm an avid scuba diver. I teach scuba diving,
Super cool.
so I get a class of 20 new people every week.
Awesome.
I work for the city of Denton, so co-workers. I'm also a motorcycle rider, so I know thousands of people in the motorcycle community. Now, most of them are not around here, but there's an event here in town most people don't know about. Every single Sunday, I go up there. Now I get to go up there and go, hey, guess what?
Yeah,
I just did, and it gives me a talking point. So that's kind of my plan for this coming weekend. I was doing it last night at the bar. They have a poker game. It's a free game. So I go up there to play cards. I know everybody there. Since I already know them all, I just tell them what's new in my life. And so who knows what will happen? I don't know. We'll see. But I can't access much here yet, so we'll see how that goes. But at least, I don't know, 200 people now know I'm a realtor. So
that's amazing.
Not bad in 48 hours.
Yeah. So let me ask you, and this isn't a question you would make feel bad or anything like that, but are you getting their information?
I have not. Most of them I already have. I did get 2 phone numbers last night, and it was completely non-related to real estate. It was just, I met a woman named Danny. She found out she rides motorcycles, so she and I have plans that we're going to meet up at the event a week from Sunday. Yeah. But she has her daughter this weekend, so she can't go. So I've already got plans with her. I got her contact information. I mean, just a phone number, not an email, but it has nothing to do with real estate. It's just a contact. So, but she might know somebody else, or she might decide 6 months from now, hey, you know what? I want to get out of this apartment. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah, I can't predict that, but who knows? It's just a seed at this point. But so I got 2. Yeah, inadvertently. I didn't even crack this book at this point yet.
No, that's okay. So, yeah. But I mean, that's exactly the right mindset to have is, you're just meeting. It doesn't have to be about real estate. Like, hey, I'm in real estate, whatever. Are you ready to sell your house? Like, it's not, that's what I thought when I first started, that it was like the scripts and stuff. It's just not me. I did not feel comfortable doing that kind of thing. As I learned, what you've already done, and I'm sure you guys figured out. It's just about relationships. And I also am a realtor, and I can help you buy and sell, or I can help your friends and family. So you're a motorcycle guy, I'm a cyclist, and I race bikes locally here and also like in the neighboring states, and have a huge group of people that I see every week. I go do a group ride. There's one in McKinney I'm doing tomorrow morning. I use that as a networking opportunity. Like, hey, I did this over the weekend, whatever, or this person. So it's perfect.
I'm very organic. Like I just, as far as I meet somebody, I meet them. I tell everybody, I bore everybody with scuba. That's my favorite thing in the world. But I don't have a problem talking to strangers. I can walk into a group of 100 people. I don't care where you are. It doesn't matter. I have no problem talking to them. So I think that's really good. That'll be very helpful. But scripting, I don't know how well I'll respond to that. I'd probably look through it and kind of pull out pieces of it that I want to use. Like, okay, and I'll plan like an outline rather than an actual script. Going, okay, I want to talk about this, this, and this. How do I work it in there? So I'll look at that and kind of see what, maybe I want to use this phrase or something. I won't actually use the whole script like verbatim. I'll just
The scripts are not designed to be written. The scripts are for people that don't know what to say, right? And it really is, you can pull out the outline. It's the best, as far as I'm concerned, that's the best way to do it. Looking there, okay, it's really just, it's who, what, why, where, when, all those things. It's those questions.
Just like you were saying earlier, people can smell desperation. People can sense competence, and they can sense when, if it's not natural. If anything, and anything that doesn't feel natural, automatically people put walls up. I don't care what you're talking about, anything you're doing. If you're looking, especially when it comes to sales. And if you think about it, just a stereotypical, you're at your house, it's Thursday evening, 6 o'clock, you're having dinner with your family, and you're on your door. First thought through your mind, you haven't answered the door, you don't know who's there. First thing through your mind, who's at my door? Right. So then you open the door, and somebody you don't know. You've got every defense you have up, because it's just, whereas if they got a text message or something from your friend who's coming over, or hey, I'm sending my stepson who you've not met yet to come over. He's going to help you clean your flower beds. He's not going to do it. You have no idea who it is. Right. So if it's sales, it's the same thing. Or if you're talking anything with this, if you don't do it, depending on how it is, if it's just inorganic and fake, people sense it so fast. They put up all their defenses, and you might as well just shake their hand, thank you for your time, walk away.
Right. Yeah, I get calls. I mean, we all do. We all get the spam calls, whatever. And then when I get the people that are just hammering me, following up, I used to hate that. Now I understand and appreciate the hustle. I'm just politely, I'm not just please leave me alone. But that's part of it. So whether you decide to do door knocking or cold calling, those kind of things, there will be rejection. There will be the people that just are not interested in that. But as long as you're coming, it's really about your mindset. If you're coming from a point of value, hey, this house down the street sold, right? I don't know what you guys are doing. We've never met, but if you're interested in doing anything, I'd love to help. Do you want to know what your house is worth right now? What's going on? Most of the time people are like, I don't need anything, leave me alone. But sometimes you're like, well, it is interesting you say that because so-and-so is, I got to move to wherever, or I don't know, can't make my payments, but I gotta have to sell. I mean, it's whatever. Everybody's situation is different. But we're, talking about different prospecting opportunities. You're doing it as far as I'm concerned, the best way, because it's about meeting people face to face, right? So you're meeting people at your motorcycle club, at the bar, whatever. It doesn't have to be about real estate. It's just about building that relationship. I would try to get, my only critique really is just try to get more contact information. You can stay in touch. And you can do that in a bunch of different ways. It can be email, phone number, but also Facebook. Facebook's huge. Facebook, Instagram, that kind of stuff. It's not just like posting. I know we're supposed to go preview 10 houses a week, but it's not just posting like, hey, another bathroom, check it out. It's like, hey, I'm going camping this weekend. This is what I'm doing. And then on Wednesday, hey, I just had this closing. My clients are awesome. They love me. I love them. Whatever. We're best friends. And then the next day, it's like, I crashed my bike because there were wet leaves on the road or whatever. It's just, that's organic, right? It's like, this is my life. Real estate's part of my life. Some people, because I thought in the beginning, it was really cringy to like just look through somebody's Facebook page or Instagram. It's just nothing but look at this amazing toilet, So you're correct in that. So you're doing, mostly organic, meeting people face to face stuff. That's perfect. What other prospecting sources can we think And they're in your book on page 26, right? So
I
we've got-
actually do the Fsbo by owner and expires, but I just started yesterday
Mhm.
calling all of the people that I've worked with previously.
Oh,
And
amazing.
as a nurse, I've worked with
Oh,
a
wow.
lot of people,
Mhm.
so.
And a nurse, so, we all, usually real estate is the next step, right? There's nobody that's like went to school and jumped straight in. I mean, but usually we had another job or previous job before that we know people that know us like it's justice, those kind of things. Hey, I'm doing this now. So that's amazing. That's perfect. What other things can we think of that aren't on this list here? Because I think we've got door knocking, geographical farming. That's kind of more talking about.
Everybody you run into every day, your hairstylist,
Yeah.
your parent teacher, your teachers.
Yeah, I do that.
Sports, kids, moms.
I plan to sponsor a bike race this next season. There's a race that happens every Tuesday, and I'm putting up the money for the main prize. It's like a championship almost. It happens every Tuesday from when daylight savings time begins to when it ends, right? So that's a lot of days, and whoever accumulates the most points at the end is going to get $1,000 check.
Wow,
And then
that's nice.
a big trophy, and I love that because I won that before, and so I'm gonna pay it forward and do that. But selfishly, the point of that is to keep my name up there. Hey, this is sponsored
What
by
is your
this.
last name?
Irwin.
Erwin. I keep looking over here, seeing if I can see it, but
Oh,
unless it's in my bifocal area, now I can see it.
yeah, it's Irwin.
So these races you do, this is a road race or is this like mountain bike?
Road. Yeah, it's on the road. And this is a crit race that happens in Richardson. There's a park in Richardson that has it's like a 1 mile track. It's a wide 2-lane street, but so it's not super technical, but it's a lot of fun.
I was a little floored when I went to Richardson Bike Mart and looked at the prices of bicycles.
They can get up there.
Oh my goodness.
Some of them.
Do y'all have any clue how expensive those
No,
are?
no idea.
Oh, my sister-in-law bought one that was like $1,500, and I thought that was crazy.
Richardson had one. It was I guess it was exactly the same as Lance Armstrong's bike,
Yeah.
$100,000.
Holy cow.
I was like,
that-
that's a
I think I know
house.
that.
Oh, no wonder that people are going around stealing those bikes then. I
That's
keep seeing that on
crazy.
Facebook, that people are
Some of
stealing
them.
those bikes.
Yeah.
I wondered why they'd steal bicycles.
There's many in the thousands of dollars. It's shocking. I was like, I thought I was getting off cheap, got finding a $600 mountain bike. And you can tell I mountain bike a lot. So I was like, yeah, $600. And I want Paul. I'm like, oh my God, Walmart, I can get it for like $89.
Yeah, I think that's where I got my bike.
I never ride it, but I love it. But yeah, one day I'm gonna try the road ones. I look so goofy. It's like a bear on one of those like little
It's
tiny bicycles. Not like a full set, but like a little tiny one.
It takes getting used to. I wasn't comfortable the first time I wore the Lycra, like tight
Yeah.
jersey, but.
Oh, that's never gonna happen. Trust me, I'm not scoring people. I have respect.
Right. Anyway, so let's get on a little bit on here so we can dive a little bit deeper into. So door knocking, it's COVID, it's weird. I haven't knocked on someone's door in forever. I still call my friends. When I was a little kid, I did, but it's still some people have great success doing that. And if you're,
So did you do door knocking at any time?
I haven't as a real estate agent.
Okay.
No, I've never done it, and so I'm teaching it as part of this, but it's not something that I have a lot of experience with. Because it became like once cell phones became a cell phone, I stopped. Like even when I was a kid, I used to go knock on the door. Hey,
Yeah.
can Jimmy, come play. And then it's like, hey, I'm outside.
Yeah.
So but there are people that have huge success with door knocking because you get face to face, right? So hey, I know one of the major agents for Keller Williams is Diane Costa. She'll say like, well, you're not going to come to my office, so I brought my office to you, or it's something similar to that. But But yeah, if you're there, you know, hey, this house just sold, or this is the neighborhood you're farming, it's the neighborhood you live in. We're having this awesome event for HOA, whatever, we're having cookies, I don't know what it is, but there's door knocking. I can't really give you guys any examples from my experience. For sale by owners, I do know a lot about. So that's another lead generation source for people that are ready and willing right now to sell their house. Let me go down here and see. Falling behind this. Okay, we're still in this. So for sale by owners, right in here, they've got the statistic. I think it's a little bit different now, but 9% of homes are, I think now it's 11.
Yeah, I think it was 11 last.
I think it's 11 now. I think this is a little bit outdated number, but so 11% are sold by the owner, and that's, the market has changed, as you guys know. It still is very much a seller's market. So there's some for sale owners that are able to get offers and sell. But so they're ready to sell right now. They don't want to pay an agent. They think they can do a better job. They're not right about that. They can probably sell on their own eventually, but an agent's going to be able to do a better job. So for me, this is the prospecting source that I spend the most of my time with. I reach out to them and just try to get an appointment and someone get over there and talk to them. And it comes down to when I meet with them, it comes down to what's going on. So show me the house. It's beautiful. Okay, where are you guys moving? You know, oh, we're moving to Houston. My family's there. Okay, so when do you need to be out of here? I like to ask, what do you need to net when you sell the house? And I find out as much as I can and see what I can do to help. I tell them that Zillow is not their friend. Usually they're on Zillow selling. On Zillow, we're getting contacted a bunch of people call me. Well, how many of those are real estate agents? All of them? Right, it's all of them. How many people have called and said, I'm ready to buy your house right now? They say, oh, I'm gonna have an offer, whatever, but usually it's a real estate agent calling because they want a list, right? So Zillow's not their friend. Zillow's selling their information. You can tell them that, that big blue button that says call contact agent on there. Sometimes they don't even look at their own ad. They just put it in whatever portal it is and then go from there. But if you show them like this little button, it goes to an agent that paid to be in the zip code and they're just using your information. So that's why it's free to put your house in there, right? Speaking as a new listing. My wife still shops for houses on Zillow. Every day. She's like, can you use my website? Like, can you use the app? Let's go. But
Is she a real estate agent too?
she's not. She does loan processing.
Oh, okay.
But she just loves to do it. She just loves to shoot through and do all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so we got contacting the Fsbo. So you can get their contact information usually from a bunch of different sources. On Zillow, they have usually in there, it's like contact owner, property owner, and their number will be there. There's other websites as well, like forsalebyowner.com. I think there's fsbo.com or .org or something like that. There's quite a few of them, Craigslist. So there's a bunch of different ways to find Fsbos. There's also companies that you can pay and they will generate a list for you every day of all new for sale owners. If that's in your budget, great. If it's not, it's okay. I would use, if it was me, I would use Zillow until I sell a couple of those and use that money. Use my 10%, right? So we're spending 10% on going back into the business, right? But I think the cheapest one right now is RedX, and it's $40 a month, and you get a list. So get an appointment to see their home, right? We say it's not about getting the listing. It's not about showing up and just bombarding them. All the listings that I've gotten from Fsbo is because they liked me and they trusted me and they appreciated how honest I was with them. the old school way is to like kind of beat them over that. Well, are you dumb? Like, why are you trying to sell me? Like, don't you know that it's like, it's showing them I can help you. And it's showing them, if you work with me, you're actually gonna net more, right? And understanding the numbers. And I don't know the number off the top of my head for sub-owner sells for, I think it's 13% less typically than what their house is worth on the open market. So that is a full commission right there, and then some that they're losing, but they think they're saving. They want to save 3% because most of them are like, yeah, I'll pay a buyer's fee. So they're really only saving 3%. I mean, they have to do the work and all that upfront and everything, right? So hey, what's up, Julian?
Hello.
Cool, no problem. I might be running behind. I don't know.
Sorry if I detoured us for too long.
Say it again.
Sorry if I took us off your schedule.
Oh, no. That's
I get a little chatty.
I did a little postcard to send to every time I see the for sub-owner list.
Mhm.
And it says, on the front of it says, you don't need a real estate agent to put you on MLS or to put a sign in your yard, but you may need a real estate agent when it comes to contract making, so you don't end up in a legal situation with your potential buyer.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point to make because it is, the MLS is just one part of it, right? So we have a program that will actually, it goes out to a bunch of different investors, right, to purchase a house similar to Open Door or similar to OfferPad, or Zillow is now doing it as well, where they just straight up offer on the house. And so we can offer that same thing with Keller Williams here. But what I tell them is like, okay, would you rather I can do this and get you 1 or 2 offers, or if you work with me, I can probably get you 10. You know, a lot of the times, if you look at the neighborhood that they're in, the average days on market is like 3 or 4 because the market is still really hot for sales. How long have you been in Zillow? 5 days, a week, and you still don't have any offers, or you have 1? Like you should have 20 or whatever it is for that neighborhood. It's not always that way. But it's just like helping them get to the idea of, okay, maybe working with an agent isn't so bad because this person's brought me all this information. Okay, I didn't even know this or whatever. It just depends. Some people are just like, nope, I just hate real estate agents. It's like, okay, well, we go back to the whole, I don't want to work with people that don't want to work with me. You know, I don't want to have to sit there and like, I'm not evil. I'm not taking you. I'm not trying to sell you, something that has problems. It's just I want to help you make the most money. And if I can't do that, then I don't deserve to get paid, right? So I only get paid when you get paid. That's the thing. So let's see. Go slowly at first, and they have all these scripts in here, and I'll let you guys read those on your own time. Win their trust, and by being a resource, I mean, this is kind of what we talked about. Building rapport. I bring all the information up front and show it to them. I know some agents tell you not to leave your CMA, not to leave this information. Well, you don't get this unless you work with me. I'm like, here, use it. In fact, I gave them my whole marketing strategy. This is what we do to sell listings. Use this. If you want to sell on your own, go ahead. This is a toolbox. This is my toolbox, but only I know how to use the tool. So good luck with that, right? But you're welcome to look through that and see it because I have the systems in place to get it done quickly. I have no doubt in my mind that you could sit here and read and understand all this and figure out a way to implement it. But by then it's going to be, a week or 2 weeks, and it's going to be over. Then people are going to start getting lower offers, right? So, so here we go. Here's another interesting point. Focus on saving money, right? So usually one of their goals is to show how they can save money by working with an agent. We talked about they sell typically on, it's like 13% less, right? Because they don't understand how to read a contract, or maybe they do. I don't like to assume those kind of things. But I do know a lot of the times I've heard horror stories from like OfferPad will come in or Open Door. oh, we'll offer you like full market, which makes them excited, and then they come in later. Well, we need to put a brand new roof on, and we need to, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, the roof's only 5 years old. Yeah, well, I just have to, and they just cut it down and nickel and dime and then at that point, they're hoping that they're desperate and just sign it, whatever, that's fine, I'll just take the cut. So actually working with an agent, they get somebody that understands, and you're promoting, in especially neighborhoods with the right marketing and these kind of things. Okay, first weekend, you're gonna have 10 offers or 15 offers, and you can choose the best one. They're like, well, I just need one. It's like, okay, I know, but wouldn't you rather 10 to choose from? If you got 2 offers and it's in this range, or you got 10 offers, what do you think the range is gonna be for? There's gonna be something up here. That's what we're trying to get to, right? And another thing is time. So the last listing that I got, when I was there meeting with him, his phone was just blowing up off the hook. He's just like, hold on. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, I can't do it right now. And his neighbor came over to knock on the door. And I was like, how are you gonna sell your house like this? I mean, you're working on fixing your floor and painting the home all by yourself. I was like, wouldn't it be nice if somebody can actually help you with all this? Like, let me take that off your hands. Let me help you, and then you can focus on it. You need to fix the floors. You need to paint the house. You can focus on that. I'll focus on the business side of selling your house. And here's a net sheet. This is the check I can get you at the end of the day. Conservatively, I'm like, oh, really? You give me that? How much is your commission? No, that's after commission. This is the check you walk away with. And they're like, okay. And so in that case, I won that client by just, he can leverage me. He doesn't have to worry about answering calls, answering texts, whatever. Right. So we go to the next lead generation source that's on here is expired or withdrawn listing. So, who was it that said doing expireds? I'm sorry, that was you. So you've been calling expired. So has it been working for you? Have you been able to get any appointments from that, or
Not so far.
not so far? Are you able to get people on the phone, though?
Yes, I have. I actually got one lady that I thought I was going to be able to make a contract with, but then she said, well, if you'll do 3%, that's what I'm offering everybody. You have to take 3% commission. And so I started talking, and so I started looking into her
instead of
background
6?
instead of 6. So I started looking into her background a little bit more, and I found out, and into the house, and found out that it had a special deed. And she wanted to list it for literally $150,000 more than it should have been listed for.
Right.
And I was like, okay, what's going on here? And so she was going to have to pay the daughter, the man's first daughter from his first marriage, and some fees and things out of it. And it had been, contested. So I was like, oh my God, I've never get paid with all this that's going on. It's just,
Yeah. That sounds shady, but
it was.
Obviously.
And I was like, okay,
so this is when we go back to saying, like, not all business is good business. You don't have to work with everybody that is there. It's like, okay, that's way to make it exciting, right? You want to pay me less for more work, obviously, to handle all this, and also it's not going to sell because you're 150,000 over what it's worth. And the script for that really is just like to meet with them and show them, okay, this house sold for this house sold for this. Is there something, like you have a bat cave beneath your house that makes it worth this much more, complete with the car?
Got a cave and a Batmobile.
That would be pretty cool.
I mean, it's a steal for just 150,000, but still, just sometimes it's just not, at that point, it's like you have to decide. So I think it would be a waste of your time too. If they're not going to budge on that price, if they're not motivated to sell, it doesn't sound like they necessarily are, which is why it's expired.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but the right mindset is just continue to do that, because most of them are going to be like, because why did it expire in this market, right?
Yeah.
In this market, there's a reason there. You can figure that out. So the 3 common reasons are price, marketing, and condition. Right. So it sounds like hers expired because of price. Some of it's just terrible marketing, like if the agent comes in and like takes crooked photo. Now, these take great photos, okay, don't get me wrong. But a professional is much better than me. This is great for like quick whatever, but you've seen some people that take every shot like this, and it's like there's finger smudges all over their lens. I mean, it just, the lights are off, it's whatever. So information's wrong. So marketing and then condition, that is something that's, you know, it just depends on the severity of something. If you come in, like, you're not going to ask everybody to upgrade to granite countertops. The upgrades have to match what you're going to return, right? But a fresh coat of paint, that's typically cheap. Or, you know, even if it's like this carpet is disgusting, either clean it or replace it cheaply. They can do that, you know, to get the house in a better condition. But sometimes it's just not. You know, they have to understand your house is not in market, you know, market condition. This is an investor property, and this is what you're kind of going to be offered, and see if you can find somebody like that. But so it just depends. But if you're contacting them, you want to confirm that they are expired, that they're not working with somebody else. You want to step on toes, right? You know, persistency is key, right? So just, if you're not the absolute first one to talk to them, probably talk to a few of them, and it's like, hey, look, I know, but and just try to get the appointment right.
If I could chime in on one thing on that,
Mhm.
what I'm seeing from the agents in the program, they're ruthless, they're great at staying on people. The one thing that I think everyone is missing is adding value. It's one thing to call, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Listen with me, listen with me. It's another when you're like, hey, here's the stats on your neighborhood right now. Hey, here's a house that just went on the market. Here's how many offers I have. Hey, I just saw the pictures that you put on there. If I could, maybe we, you know, here are my tips on how to declutter your house or something just something like that would give them tips on how to sell their house. But what they're gonna do is like, oh my gosh, you just know all this stuff, right? Or I know Brooke, she's
I think she's not in here.
no, she but she was going after for summer. She just got a listing, this land listing, and was calling. She sent the person the CMA in the mail. They called her name. She's like, I don't understand what this means. And she's like, what's the CMA? It's like, what, the house is under you're selling. And the lady was so frustrated because she just didn't know what it means. And I was like, it's okay. I know what it means. I'm a realtor. This is what we do. I can help you. If you don't know what this means, you need my help. So just any value that you can give them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be tips from home. It could be, I love Chris Wise, she said it in one of the other things, but like, hey, I know a guy. Here's my list of handymen. You know, if you are doing work on a house, here's who I trust. That just doing some of that legwork for them, you're gonna develop trust. They're gonna have a reason to respond to you. And someone just calling me, I'm gonna be like, I have nothing to say to you, but I have a letter like, oh, thank you, this was really helpful. Or maybe I have a question about it. That opens up the communication process. So y'all are doing great following up with people. Just make sure we're having some kind of value.
Perfect. Who has anybody here done an open house? Or actually, let me ask, are there any more questions about expireds or for sale by owners? Because I kind of just kept going and didn't stop to ask. That's good. I think Bill's the only one on with Zoom. So Bill, if you have a question, you can chime in. But so moving on, has anyone done open house?
No, but I'm about to try one out.
Okay, so this part's for you, right? So honestly, I think when you're looking for buyer leads, if it's not your listing and you're holding an open house for somebody else, and you're looking for buyer leads, these are some of the best leads that there are because they're actively out there looking. And a lot of times they just, you know, it sometimes might be a neighbor or whatever, like we're just coming to take a look and be nosy. And that's okay, that happens with anything. But when you're meeting, like you meet a couple or you meet somebody that's actually looking like, okay, this is interesting, and they're not working with an agent, boom, there you go. Like, hey, okay, if this house doesn't work for you, there's a couple of them that I know about. I'd like to show you, or just have a quick conversation with them. Get their information, stay in touch. first couple open houses, I was terrible at that. I did not have a little sign-in sheet. I was like, well, here's my card, let me know. Never heard from them. Surprise, surprise. So get their information, and then it's, like we said, it's responded with something of value. Hey, here's another list. I actually take with me when I do open house, a list of other open houses. You know, okay, well, you guys check out this one yet? Okay, go check out this one, whatever. And I'm not worried about them seeing the other agent there because I know they're gonna love me. So, but I get their information and I stay in touch, right? So we've got our little thing here, right? Like before, during, and after. So if you're hosting an open house and you have time to market it, you can do that. And that could be like calling your list of buyers that you're working with now. If you don't have anybody, calling the neighborhood, that's a big one. It's like saying, hey, we're doing this. Come check it out. If you know anybody that's looking to move into the neighborhood or whatever. Or even just tell the neighbors, hey, we're having, like, usually on the same street, like, we're having an open house, there's probably gonna be a bunch of cars. So just be aware of that, right? So during, you know, everybody that comes in, you wanna get their information, have a conversation with them. How'd you hear about the open house? You know, is this what you're looking for? Are you actively looking? Most of the neighbors will be like, oh no, we live down the street, we just saw it. But people are like, well, yeah, this is like the 20th house we looked at. This market's crazy, blah, blah, blah. Or, no, this is like our first one. We're not working with anybody. Right. And that's kind of what it boils down to. I haven't done a lot of open houses, but I do know that I enjoy it because I get to talk to people. I like to do that. And so I get to meet a bunch of people. And if you market it correctly, you can get a bunch of people to do it. Right. So good luck on your open house. If you have questions about it, hopefully we can.
And on the KW.U website, there's 2 videos. I just texted those to Christina. There's one for scripts, what to say to open house, especially if you're having a hard time getting people to sign in. There's some really good scripts on there, like getting them to sign in, get their information. And then there's another mastermind, and it's about an hour long, just as like how to do the best open house. It talks about where to place your signs, goes into all this detail. But I guess we can look this up if you need the link from this video.
Another thing that I wanted to mention about open houses is a lot of times buyers are sellers as well. If they're not working with an agent, they're just sort of looking around at the moment, or they're not. You know, it just depends on you got to find out what their time frame is. But you know, see if they need a seller house as well. And after you meet them, stay in touch and see what's going on. So I know that's happened to me a couple times. So the next one on page 32 is agent referrals. There's a lot of agents either at this, there's a lot of agents even at this office that just have so many leads that they can't handle them all, and they need somebody to take care of those, usually for a referral fee. I don't know if it's still in. Yeah. You know, so if you're involved in, I know we have we still have the Facebook. Facebook group, right? Yeah. That helped me immensely when I first started, because I could, okay, hey, well, we're doing this. I need somebody to, sometimes it's like, I need somebody to open the door. If I have time, I can do it, make a fee there. But with the referrals, a lot of my beginning business came from referrals, because I can't do it. I've got one of them. I know Garland really well because I grew up there, and so there was an agent that she had a client that was looking in that area, and so I just helped her with that. It was 25% referral fee. It helped me out because I didn't have as many clients then. And soon I'll be at the point where I'm gonna have to start referring what I do.
And also with that, if you have people, so let's say I'm a client, I'm moving to California, can you help me? Yes, you can. Refer me to KW agent in California. You just made a $25 referral, or 25% referral fee for setting a client there. So even if they're moving out of state, still saying, yes, I can help you. Let me connect you. We can talk when that situation comes up, we can talk about how to find that agent. But there are agents out there that make their whole career off of referring their clients moving out of state or whatever to agents other places. So just kind of keep that in mind. Still help people even if they're moving in this area.
If you have someone like in Austin, would that have to be like a referral too? Or can you still some Austin?
So yes and no.
Okay.
So you can, because you're licensed for the state of Texas. It's about having access to their MLS.
Okay, so you have to join over there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we can join the board. Sometimes like, so Thomas's cousin is a realtor in Houston. Thomas wanted to represent some buyers that are like $1 million buyers, $1 million clients. So we just got access to his MLS, use MLS, and did the deal that way. So sometimes if there's an agent that we know of that has access to the MLS, we can hook you guys up with them.
Okay.
But most of the time it's just easier to say, hey, let me just refer you over there, because they know the local market, they know things like that. But
Okay.
yeah, so it's not impossible, it's doable. We just have to work the situation.
Okay.
And then I think this is the last one in our book here, and it goes into social media, which is a whole other world of, you know, the old school way of doing sales, and cold calling and all that kind of stuff, but it's a lot of it shifting to social media. Like I said, I don't make phone calls, prospecting calls, I do it by text message. There's people that say you can't do that, but me and Thomas and Julian have proved that that's not true. I get way more responses in a text message than I do, or Facebook messaging. So there was an agent that used to be a KW. She moved to another brokerage, but she does all her business from Facebook, and she spent times creating like different Facebook groups, like Moms of Denton. I mean, I don't know them all, I'm just making stuff up, but she had like all these different groups, and she was in control of these, and she would just get all this business from these groups that she cultivated on Facebook. She had like a 5-5-5 method, which is like 5 new friends, reach out to 5 people. I can't remember the comment. 5.
Message
5
5
comments.
people, yeah,
Yeah.
comment on 5 posts, like 5 posts,
Mhm.
so they're all supposed to be different people. And you basically just go down your friends list, so
Mhm.
that way you start popping up on their algorithm when they open up Facebook.
Right.
I think you're supposed to do like 5 videos, or like share 5 videos a week or something. There's another 5.
The main point of the, you know, we love to have number by numbers, but it's engagement, and it's engaging with not just the other real estate agents that will inevitably message you and become friends with. But when you start posting on somebody else's timeline, and you guys, I'm sure, understand at least basically how the algorithm works. So Facebook is huge. It doesn't always have to just be about real estate. It shouldn't be, actually. That should be a small percentage of what you're posting on Facebook. It should just be like your normal everyday life. And I post all my closings on there. Like, hey, but a lot of it the other stuff is like me going on a bike ride, or me doing whatever, or me messing up. I tried to make bread the other day, and I think I killed the yeast because it came out like a rock. And I was just like, I used to be good at this, and so that was a waste. But just stuff like that, right? So, you know, you can post about the neighborhoods if you're previewing my house, doing whatever. I mean, there's a whole list of things that I'll let you guys read about. If you have holdups about what to post or what to do. Twitter, I don't have Twitter. I never had Twitter. I'm not gonna mention Twitter, so don't think about it. I'm sorry. I'll let you read that section. But I literally have never downloaded Twitter before. You know, Pinterest is another one that I spend time on Pinterest, but I don't have Pinterest. I do have Instagram because it's with Facebook. Although my account a long time ago got locked and I was never able to get back into it. So now I just follow a bunch of people. I don't post on Instagram. But Instagram's another spot. I mean, it's very similar to Facebook, just easier, right? You can post, you know, check this out, or this is my house for the week, or there's so many different ideas to engage with people, but it doesn't all have to be real estate related.
I'm very sad now.
Why?
Because I feel like I'm gonna have to download Instagram, Twitter, all this other.
You don't have
You don't
to.
have to, it's just, you can use it as a tool to stay in touch with all the people that you're meeting.
Yeah, I barely use Facebook, so. I'm just not
And
social
I mean,
media.
same, I'm not super social media man. I wish I was, because I just am not, it's not something that ever, when I was younger, I was super into Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and then I just I wasn't interested in like competing with my friends in high school. But I do still use Facebook to stay in touch, because like I said, it's almost a necessity at this point. I mean, nobody told me my family, my grandfather died, I had to find out on Facebook. That's how, information is passed. Like I used to be on a bike team. Like, you didn't show up for this thing that we had. And I'm like, nobody told me. It was on Facebook. So,
Birthdays.
yeah.
I can't remember anybody's birthday. I only know it's just on Facebook.
I get accused of that a lot.
Well, that's what I did this morning. It was my son-in-law's birthday today and I forgot. And
Yeah.
it popped
Oh,
up on
yeah.
my Facebook this morning. I went, oh.
Check every morning.
Yeah.
Straight up, think that's something important.
So there's some other social media sites. You said you're using LinkedIn. That's perfect. That's great, especially for the allied resources that we're going to be meeting and building business with. YouTube blogs and community websites.
What exactly is a blog?
It's like basically it's an online newsletter hub. So like, I know my coach, they use blogs all the time. Like, they do a blog, like 3 blogs a week. And they're in Orlando, and so it's just like, hey, what's going on this weekend? Hey, we tried this restaurant. Hey, are you looking to get into real estate? Here's what you need to know. Like, I mean, it's everything. They literally have a paid person, that's what they do. And they post those on Facebook, run ads to them, funnels to the website. That's how they collect a lot of leads. So
Okay.
if that's your thing, then
Yeah, if you like to write, a blog is a great place to put like something in long form you want to talk about or explain. Whether it's about the market or whether it's about whatever it is. I know that I've linked. I don't write my own blogs, but I've linked other blogs in like a text. Like, hey, so and so, I saw this. I thought you might find it interesting. It's just like about why the market's crazy or whatever it is. Could be anything. And I do this a lot with. It's like what I do with my brothers. If I see something funny that I think one of my clients or past clients or somebody in my database will appreciate, I will send it like a meme. I will send them that and just hopefully get a laugh out of it. It doesn't necessarily have to always be about business. I just try to stay in touch with people. So YouTube, that's, if you wanted to make videos, you could do that. That's a totally different ballgame that I don't know anything about making videos. I do use video for my business. There's a extension on Chrome called Loom. I actually have it on my phone as well. And it's great. It puts a little, your face is in the bottom of it and you can walk through and share your screen. It's very similar to Zoom, but you can make a little recording and send that out. And so it works great for expires. I know, or like I've done it with for sale by owners before. I've done like a Zillow ad review. Like I'll just say, hey, Mary, I saw your house and you're selling it on your own. That's cool. I just wanted to kind of show you what we do. Here's your price or whatever, kind of like your pictures, whatever, and just kind of explain, without getting super detailed here. And then I'll either email that to them or text them the link to the video and see what they think. And I've got a bunch of appointments doing that before. One of them was a guy, he was so mean on the phone. He was actually mad that I got his phone number, and because he put his incorrect phone number on Zillow.
Yeah.
because that's supposed to help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he put his email. He's like, email me instead. Here's my number, but send me an email. So I got his correct number and called him. He's like, how do you do this? And I was like, well, I'm a smart guy. And he was just like, well, just email me whatever. And so I stayed in touch with him. I called him a couple days later. Hey, still whatever. Just email me. So I sent him this email. Like I said, hey, I just wanted to show you this. I showed him the MLS. I said, this is how many properties sold in the last 5 days around you. You're still on the market. Like, let me know. I want to help. And then he called me like, what are you talking about? Got the appointment. So, you know, so you can use video, right? So Facebook, let's see. Before we move on to the end here, am I going over on time? Or are we?
It's until 12.
No, we have
Oh, okay.
45
Oh,
minutes.
I was freaking out. Oh my gosh. Good. Sorry. All right, let's see. So I'm sorry, I'm reading this activity and let's see what. All right, sorry. So right here, I mean, it's asking us to break into groups, but we don't necessarily have to do that because we are a little group here. But it's just giving ideas of sort of things too. I'm on page 36 on you know, what sort of things valuable things to post on social media that are business related, right? So you can use your MLS data. Average homes, you know, our average days on market for homes is like, in this case, it's 40. Right now, it's probably more like 14 or 7. It depends on whatever neighborhood we're in. Or, you know, here's one like, no one's buying or selling. Like, one of the things that I looked at in the very beginning, and I haven't looked at it today or this week actually, and I was going to log in earlier, but it just sort of helps me understand like the sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. If you go into the MLS and you look down, and you know, I'll change it to like 3 days, right? Or even you could change the, I don't have it up there, but down here it sort of gives you this little market watch, right? So if we go like within the last 7 days, so last week, you know, 2,900 homes were sold. Okay, and then there's a bunch more that are pending, and then new listings here. So we know that a house is going on the market, but people are also, you know, and they're selling quickly. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But the market is moving, right? So, you know, sometimes if you're talking to someone, well, I don't have anywhere to go. There it is. It is tough, but you know, you could. It depends. You can use the MLS to create a list of, okay, these are all the houses in Richardson that are under 300,000. Whatever neighborhood is your favorite area to farm. I mean, it just really. I'm not super creative when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I like data. That excites me. I like spreadsheets and numbers, and even though they're not pretty, sometimes I make mini graphs. But so it just depends, you know. The agent we were talking about earlier that made big business from Facebook, she'll literally just post, you know, what are you grateful for today? Just a bunch of comments, and she just starts having conversations with people. I mean, it's amazing. It's really simple. So it just depends. So let me stop for a minute and ask you guys about if you have questions about social media or something if I was able to help you have any ahas from using social media, or if that was just all information you already knew.
No, everything that has to do with social media is kind of an aha for me.
Okay.
Facebook's the only one I knew, and
Mhm.
I'm still stuck on the one that was before Facebook. For some reason. It still exists. Y'all think it
I really
doesn't, but
miss.
it does. But there's only
Tom.
old people on it.
I really miss Tom.
I know it still works.
Yeah.
He was my
but-
first friend.
But I did start doing the Facebook thing just the other day because they came in and they said, well, how many people do you have in your Facebook? 54.
Mhm.
And I went, and Thomas was saying, oh, 7,000. And I'm like, oh my God, or 5,000 or whatever it was. And I'm like, oh my God. So I just started going to my family members and friends
Mhm.
and friending 5 of their friends.
Mhm.
And every time somebody would accept my friend request, I'd pull up their contacts and friend 5 of
Yeah.
theirs. So I just started doing that a couple days ago and I already got 168 or something like that in 2 days.
That's amazing.
So I was like, wow, can't believe how fast that went.
Yeah.
And then I started messaging it, So
Well, that's
now we'll see how many contacts I get out of this.
so if you continuously feed Facebook like you would feed your database, feed it some content in some way.
But I am
Yeah, like
getting
I said.
people solicit me too. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll get that. It'll be nonstop.
It's amazing how many
Now I
people
start
sell
to get all the,
Cincy
I don't know if
products.
there's any here.
Who knew?
How many people buy it?
Sell Cincy. How many people I've friended just send me something says, hey, have you ever tried Cincy? I'm like,
Scentsy?
it's
It's like
it's
candles.
candles and they now have
The-
little
the
stuffed
wax
animals,
warmers.
stuffed animals
Oh.
that you put can sit in the kid's room.
That are the essential
Oh,
oils.
And with the little scent thing inside it. So, yeah,
Everyone loves those essential oils too.
Um,
It is.
I can't.
I didn't know that was still such a big thing that we're over all.
Oh my God.
Everybody's at home now. I mean,
Definitely, probably more.
Essential oils don't take care of cancer.
Yeah, right.
Fix everything.
I worked in oncology, I'm telling you right now, that crap works.
Oh, I know.
Eating
have-
right actually does help though.
Mhm. No, yeah, and exercise.
Yeah.
I have a family member who got bit by a brown recluse, and she's fixing it with, I don't remember what. It's not medicine from a doctor. It's something. So kind of, well, I'm just putting this on you, but it's just I'm trying to do it naturally. I'm like, you got bit by a bad spider that will
That can rot out
you're
your
gonna lose your foot.
flesh and
Like, yes.
even roll up.
It's like this isn't a joke.
Well, I knew someone that thought that cavities could self-heal.
Oh.
Until their kid had to get a root canal at the age of 3 because the cavity did not self-heal. Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook's full of fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if there's a concept, and I don't know if it's I think it's in this book here, which is Prospect, right? I like this book a lot because I'm a data dork and there's a lot of information, but it talks about guarding your database, and you don't want to have you want to have your SOI database is people that truly know you, like you, trust you, are going to work with you. And they get a different marketing set than the people you haven't met, right? So there's 12 direct for the people that you've never talked to, or not never talked to, but haven't met. They don't really know you that well. You just want to kind of stay fresh in their mind. And then there's the 36 touch, which goes towards your SOI. I would include social media in that in a way to touch those people, but having a bunch of I don't know. You don't just have to like and friend every single person you find on Facebook, and then you only get 5,000. So unless you're gonna have multiple accounts, I know 5,000 seems like a lot, but at a later state in your business, you want 5,000 quality contacts in there versus 200 of them are selling some MLM, whatever, and they're just or they're all other real estate agents or something that we're just bouncing back and forth with each other. So
You can have your personal page and then you have your business page. Business page, obviously, for business. If you choose to keep it separate,
well, that's if you are going to run ads, you have to run it through your business page. So you want to sort of mirror. And then there's you might know the rules about marketing on Facebook. Facebook doesn't like it when you market without paying for an ad. Surprise, surprise. So just there's rules and regulations there for what constitutes that. But
when you're ready for that.
Yeah, that's
when you're ready for that, my recommendation is to do it through command, because until you can build the credibility on your business page, saying like, hey, we're a real estate entity, it's going to take some time for the algorithm to get all that stuff. If you do it through command, it already registers that you're with Keller Williams, they know it's real estate, they know who to get it to. So through command, it does all of that for you. You don't have to train any of that. So if you're gonna do a Facebook ad, we can talk about that. Someone that I would, she's in this office, she is an Ignite feature that is teaching next week. Her name is Kristen Malou. She's like the queen of social media. She's always on. She's always on. She's got a whole like film studio in her office, like ready to go. She's always posting something, but it's genuine. Rather, it comes across as genuine. I'll say that. So just as an example, what does this look like? She's always really, really good.
Mhm, definitely. And she's great at that. And she just gets it done. When I first started and I was looking into like, okay, where do I start? Who do I talk to? It was like drinking from a fire hose. I didn't know it was so much. Sort of, take some time to think about, okay, well, what would I like to try? I mean, there's a list, there's another list. I think it's also it's part of the Ignite book of like different lead generation sources and ideas. So we've talked about the lowest hanging fruit, which is expires and for sale by owners. And social media is more of a nurture. That's not as right now business as for sale owners and expires or even open houses. But there's so many other opportunities, right? And identify a few of those and then make a plan to, okay, I'm gonna contact, 5 expires, 5 for sale owners or whatever. If it needs to just be 10 total, 10 new contacts, whatever it is, just keep working towards getting the consistency of prospecting every day, lead generating every day. Going to the bar and talking to people counts.
That's my favorite thing to do.
I don't drink, I just go to hang out.
Yeah, but hanging out with people, talking with people, it doesn't even have to be about real estate, but meeting people that you can then add later. That all counts. So
We can help you in one-on-one appointments, come up with the conversion ratios, what we need to do, what kind of campaign do they need to be on, help you build all that out. That's my favorite part. So once you guys start getting people in your database, usually around that 2 week, between 2 weeks and 30 days, you guys in the program will schedule an appointment. Sit down and help you guys with all that. So, but really do something that you enjoy for lead gen, because it needs to be consistent. And like if you enjoy cold calling, you're a crazy person, and just do it regularly. I can tell you right now, Thomas, you'd rather email and go out there and prospect that way. I'd rather go to more social events. So that our team kind of does a mixture of that. We literally did like a ghost tour last night. Has nothing to do with real estate. Met 20 people out there, got their contact information. Now they're in our database, and we got 3 leads off of that. So it literally, you can be selfish. It can be something that you guys enjoy doing. If it's going to your kid's soccer game, if it's coffee, like neighborhood happy hours and stuff like that, whatever you guys want. If it's scuba classes,
It's good times, just so you know, and I cook every weekend.
Okay, so see, we can help you guys with that. I was meeting with another agent yesterday and was like, coming up with this 36 touch, which is how we're gonna reach out. I was like, newsletters, it's super easy. How do you feel about that? He's like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. What do you want to do? So now we're doing quarterly neighborhood happy hours.
Oh.
That's something he's passionate about. He wants to leave the neighborhood. Cool. So we came up with a game plan on how to do that. So start thinking of creative ways on how you guys want to lead gen. Lead gen, all that is getting contact information and making connections. That's it. If it's through Facebook, we can talk about Facebook funnels. If it's through, I don't know, you guys like scary movie marathons. We can do one around scary movie. Like we can do it, whatever. We'll just how to do
I
that.
can't remember the URL. I just hit the first 2 letters and then. I'm sorry, hold on 1 second. I was gonna show you guys a good way to get a list of people to contact and show you great. Have you guys heard of Remind? Remind?
Oh, yeah, they used it at a school that I worked at, but I I didn't really utilize it. We used something else instead, like most people did.
It was .net and I put .com, that's why. Okay.
David, I'm gonna forward this to you.
Okay.
This is a SOI list of like where to find contacts, and then they talk about it in bold.
Yeah.
But it'll be on the resource page. So
Cool. I think it's similar to,
and,
I think it's similar to this, right?
yeah, it's like hairdresser. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we should be forward that. So look for that. Okay. All right, so you guys are familiar, well, you won't be.
Oh,
but
I
will be
thought you were
saying-
saying Remind, the Remind app, Remind this thing.
Remind, yeah.
Oh, never mind. I was thinking of something.
Oh, it's okay, but have you guys heard of this or know what this is?
Okay. I've kind of played around with it just a little bit, but I don't really know exactly. Is it that one?
One.
Yeah, I think it's that one.
I mean, we're,
Yeah,
as
it's
far
that
as the
one.
Ignite
We're
program
fine.
is concerned, we are pretty much done besides just going through the action plan. But I wanted to share this with you. So obviously this is your, the MLS and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of great information, but I want to show you guys Remind because this helped me a lot in the beginning of just being, it still helps me. I use it every day. I can't imagine doing what I do now without that allow. Let's see here. So this is another area that you can get, property information about a home. And if you go to the search, this is really where I spend the majority of my time is in the search function. And usually like with a for sale by owner, I will pull up their address and pull the information and cross check with, I'm using it more for information, but it's also a great way to, so let's go to Denton and see. So it's also a great way to pull lists of people that you could potentially list their house or something like that, right? So, and Remind really would take its own class to learn everything about it, but just to kind of give you guys an idea, if we came, what's a neighborhood? Let's just pick one somewhere. Too funny. So like here's Southbridge. This is like literally our backyard. Or let me move down here because I'm going to show you guys. If we wanted to pull like an absentee owner list, or like even Denton, right? So the absentee owners are people that don't live at they own the house, but they don't live there. They live somewhere else. A lot of times they either rent it out or something like that.
There's an area on the west side of town that this neighborhood I used to live in. They're just vacating the whole area where they put a new high school.
Oh, really?
That whole neighborhood, it runs off of Thunderbird, Crest Meadow area.
Down 380?
No, it's on 35 and
Okay.
380. So it would actually be like right here. Yeah, that neighborhood off Windsor Drive. The whole area. They put in a new high school up here, and they got all these apartments coming in.
Yeah.
So all the homeowners, you already got the Walmarts and everything down here.
Mhm.
They were actually building. You can see they already got the streets in here now. They're building new homes there. But a lot of those homes, they've just vacated them out. They're mostly investors are buying them right now and using rental property for UNT.
I can move this over here. I know I'm blocking some of the information. So let's do this. I'll do a quick little thing. Maybe we want to reach out to the people in this neighborhood since you have this kind of inside scoop. You know what's going on. So actually, I'm gonna do the polygon.
Yeah, and the price points on them is in the mid 200s. They're not super expensive, so they're becoming really attractive to investors. You pick one up for $250,000. They're a 3-bedroom, a 4-bedroom home. They're renting them out $600 a room. I mean, they're pulling huge profit for investors.
Right. So let's do this. I'm just gonna circle. I'm just gonna do this quick and dirty. Right. So we do like that. And this. So then we get this list here, right? And so if you wanted to, you could get a list of everybody here. So there's 700 results. Okay. Or if you wanted to kind of, and obviously sales active, so we don't care about those. We're not gonna prospect those, right? So we could go, let's see here. It's actually hard for me to see from all over here. Believe it or not.
What are you trying to see?
Oh, I'm just looking for, there's a filter in here for,
Like right next to you, right there's a filter.
yeah, for status. I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
top one.
status. Yes, we want either, there should be one that says off market. We don't want any of these. Well, expired will be fine, but. Let's see.
Off market, go down.
Yeah, there we go.
Right there.
Perfect. So we want off market. All right, so there's still 700 there, and then, you know, to get the information to just these people, if you wanted to reach out to all of them, but you know, let's say, you know, we wanted to target people with a better sales score, right? And you guys can go in here and mess around. This is just a quick kind of introduction of what Remind can do. But let's say we're going to focus on medium to high sales score. Their sales score is an algorithm of, you know, whatever magic that they want to come up with, right? So then it comes down to like 93 results. So I cut it down quite a bit, right? Although you're saying that people are moving out of this neighborhood left and right, so that might not be accurate.
Yeah, I used to know everybody that lived on Crest Meadow Street, because that's where I lived. I knew all of my neighbors.
Yeah.
And I think there's 2, maybe 3 people left on that street alone.
Right.
And I literally knew all of them.
Okay, sure.
They're gone. So
So there's a bunch of different filters you can use over here. Distress deals, right? If it's a lot, you know, mortgage rate, however you want to do it, they have a way that's built in here to send postcards out if you want to do that. What I like to do is get their information, call and text them or email them or everything. And so what I want to do, I'm gonna switch this around again. So I'm gonna get rid of the sales score. I'm gonna keep off market and I'm gonna keep this polygon. And what I want to know is absentee. So I'm gonna absentee in state and out of state. I don't want owner occupied and I don't want corporate. Because corporations are a different ballgame. Usually they have like a property manager and they do their own thing. So what I'm hoping to find are people that are investors that are just sick of being investors and they probably want to sell or they just, you know, whatever it is. And there's 2 ways to do that. If you call them and you're like, hey, you know, with the market being so hot, I don't know if you've considered selling. And they're like, yes. Okay, well, you know, then you can move from there. Or they're like, no, I love being a landlord. I love having a rental property. Okay, well, hey, if I find a property that I think would work well for an investment, would you be interested? And they're like, oh, sure. And then you get their information that way. So you can go either way, right?
there's still 91 results in that little neighborhood.
So that's 91 results of absentee owners, of people that do not live here. Most likely they're renting it out, right? And so how do we get this information? Because Remind is free, you know, it comes with your the MLS and with the Keller Williams offers that. So, or I mean the board offers that. So let me see here.
So you get their phone numbers.
Yeah, I'm showing you guys how to do that now. So what we need to do is select all. Okay, so if this is, you know, we see where we're at, and this is just an example. This is a lot of fun to play around with because there's so much to do, right? It just depends on what you want to niche down in. So you click select all, right? Because you could select all these individually, but then I got to add them to a cart, right? And this can be. Have denting absentee. Denting Razor Ranch list. We got capitalized on our R, so it looks funny. So then we add to the cart. Then we got to go to carts and then find that list, which is here. See, I got a bunch of lists. I play around with this a lot. Okay, and then we're gonna do select all, and then export. And then let's see, I'm gonna do the same thing. If I can find the right keys. And then, so I already have the columns in here, but if you're gonna write them down, make sure you get the property address information and owner information. You need at least those. You can see in here, there's a bunch of different, a lot of stuff you can choose. You can get very, very, very detailed. But this is a lot of information. This is really what I need to do what I need to do with it. And then we go to export. So you make sure you get property address information, owner information. That'll have their phone number, email, name, all that kind of stuff. It'll also say whether they're on the do not call list or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you don't want to be calling people on the do not call list and make people mad. So
Prices have already gone up.
there's that. And so now we gotta wait a minute before it'll show up down here in my alerts, so it'll be ready to download. So it takes a minute for them to come together, and then I'll pull that up and show you guys. Because all the information doesn't show here for some reason. Don't know why.
This is much quicker to do a whole list for like expireds than how I was doing it each like individually.
It's tough to do expireds individually. You can pull, yeah, you can, I don't know how to do it with expireds. I know there's a way to do it in Remind. It just comes with making a filter and just updating that every day. But yeah, it's much easier to look those up in here in a program like this than it is to like go through, then find their phone number and call them. By the time you did that, I mean, how many can you get through in, you know, okay, now it's ready to download, and that'll show up down here also. And so I think this computer has Excel. Actually, let me make sure before we do that because it'll freak me out. Okay, it does. Excel 2010. Yes. So let's see here. There you go. Okay, I'll close. So obviously it shows up in CSV file and it's not super organized. A lot of these, like, let's go here, owner name, right, and then owner phone. Not every single one of them is going to have an email, but there's a lot there, right? So here's the phone numbers. Sometimes you see it'll put all the phone numbers in one column. So it does take a little bit of cleaning up. But you could reach out to, I mean, I would reach out to as many of these absentee owners as possible and try to make connections. If you know how to use Excel and you're good at it, it's very quick to move these around and get it organized to where you can just upload that to your CRM if you want to call from there, or whatever tools you're going to use. But this is how you get the list, right? So that's one good way. That's another thing that's not in our book about absentee owners. I like doing that because, like I said, there's a way to go either way. It's not like I'm not doing anything right now, leave me alone, I'm not going to sell my house. It's like, okay, that's fine. You're an investor. If I find a property, so it's like, yeah, I was ready to sell, or I was thinking about doing that this year or next year, or if I can get the right price, or I'm actually looking for another property, whatever, and then build a database that way. You can do it with expireds. I use this to pull up information on for sale by owner houses, because I don't use the Zestimate, but they have their own valuation system. Like if I go back to the thing here and we go to search, you can see the house I grew up in. This is the house I grew up in. That's what I always use instead of 123 Main Street. I remember this one quicker, right? So this is, obviously it's off market. Oh, look, I planted that tree. So you've got, you get all the information here, and then they have all kinds of information. So if you're looking up one person and you don't want to go through that whole rigmarole that we did to make the list. Actually, they're an absentee owner. Sell me back my house. So we can actually go down and here's a shortcut over here. So owners and people, and then here we go. So it's a trust, they're smart. They don't have their information in here. I don't know who this is, associated people. It might be the person who's leasing. It might be the person who owned it before. I'm not sure, because I haven't lived here since like 2010 or something, 2007. So anyway, so let me try to find another house that we can actually see some information that's not owned by trust. Let's see. So there's that house, and then we'll go down here and see, like, so Joseph, he's the owner. Here's his contact info. So don't call these numbers, right? But you could email. You know, you could email these people. Hey, have you talked to Joseph? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't do that, but right. I mean, so, but you know, here's the owner. Here's the information. And I think this is a super useful tool to get the info, and it cuts out a lot of time.
Yeah.
Than going and trying to find them on Facebook or look through something like that. But there's a lot of opportunities with absentee owners are doing it this way. I mean, you could get really detailed in Remind and pull. I mean, this is how you would pull a list for open house if you're gonna call an open house. If you were gonna do if you're gonna do circle prospecting or something like that, like call about just listings, just solds. You know, you pick your neighborhood or you pick a house that you liked or that is in a price point that you want to kind of get into, and then pull a list of homes in that area. If you wanted to send out postcards, which I don't recommend in the beginning because that can get kind of expensive. But if you're farming a neighborhood, it's a good way to stay in touch with people. You can pull a list and then send it straight from here. Another idea for lead generating instead of just absentee owners, it's like people that have lived in their house for like more than 20 years that are, you know, they're getting older and it's a 2-story home, right? So they don't want to walk up the stairs anymore. They might be moving out into a assisted care facility or something like that. And there's a lot of that happening right now. If you look, before I did residential, I did developments, and one of the things that we were always looking for in our master plan developments was assisted care facilities, because so many people are moving into these care facilities to live out the rest of their days. But that means they're selling their houses as well, so you can reach out to these, hey, you know what? So there's just, like I said, Remind would take a whole other class to learn everything about it, but I recommend you guys go in there and at least play around and see, you know, try to make a list and see if you can, you know, get a bunch of people on the phone. Other than that, I think we are very close to being done here. Did you guys have any questions or ahas or other things you wanted to bring up?
I would say all of that was my the cart and everything. I didn't know how to
Yeah,
do
that was definitely.
Yeah.
And I can talk to the market center about learning this more in depth, but it's not hard. It's not hard to do. I just recommend going in and playing around with it. I mean, that's how I like to learn, is just screwing around with stuff.
I actually found that the other day, but I didn't play with it enough apparently, because I just saw a lot of things that I did not realize that
A good resource. I mean, YouTube helped me out a lot when I first started, and there's a bunch of there are so many companies that offer like lists and all this kind of stuff. And in the beginning, you can do it on your own and not have to pay a big monthly fee for these lists. It's great. The lists that you get that are automated, they just show up every day. They're awesome because they cut out a lot of time, but they do cost money. So you have to be making money to pay for these. You don't want to go into the red, you know, in the beginning, because that's what I did at the very beginning. I found which one was the best data source, and it was like, it was $260 a month. And they're like, here's all the expireds, here's all the for sale owners. Well, I never called expireds, and I did for sale owners, but they had so much more. I could do most of it with this for free. It just takes longer.
Yeah.
Because they don't clean it up and scrub it for me. So.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for bearing with me. Hopefully it wasn't, I got kind of screwed up when we had to move down here, had to restart it. but-
Oh, no, that's all
You're
good.
very informative, actually.
Yeah,
Thank you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
yeah, it's really good.
Absolutely.
Lunch.
So Zoom, I'm gonna get off the call now. If you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask, but I'm about to end everything. I think, I don't even know if Bill is still watching around. All right, cool.